Still waking up. I'll keep the glasses off, fuck it. Alright, give everybody a minute to hop in. Make sure I'm actually on time. Yep. 9:09 exactly. There we go. Alrighty. I'll give everybody like 2-3 minutes to hop in, then I'll explain what's going on, what's been going on, and what will go on. Suffice to say, I have a bit of a health scare to discuss. And unfortunately, it's looking more and more like it's not just a scare. But I'll elaborate in a minute. Hi, kiddo. Where's my water? Can I help you, sir? He's trying to fuck the mic. Brett. There he goes.
He's shaking up on you.
I appreciate it, bud. No clawing the couch, okay? Give it another minute and a half, and then I'll go into what's been happening. I have a few things to go over, unfortunately. The first one has been something that has apparently been an issue of mine for about, what, like 6 months I've had the pain? Brett? Something like that? Yeah. As soon as that hits 3 minutes. I will archive this on YouTube, simply for prosperity's sake. Or posterity's sake, sorry. Like posterior. Like, why was your mouth open? You okay? His head's stuck. There you go. Hey, buddy. It's the first time you guys get to see these guys up close. That's Shadow, the big boy. Jet, come here, buddy. Come here, baby. And then my baby boy is over there, just sitting on the floor, being a cutie. Java new update available. All right. Hey, Power Man. Hey, buddy. I have been obsessively watching your speedruns. They're so fun, and you're incredible, man. You're an incredible runner. Not even just in Spyro, but in Ratchet and Clank, in Splatoon, everything. You rock, man. It's good to see you. I'll go into the news in just 3, 2, 1. Okay. First thing on the docket. I recently discovered, and this is an update, technically, because if you guys remember a few months back, I had a hepatitis scare. My doctor, for some reason, wanted me to get tested for it. At the time, I didn't understand why. Unfortunately, now, with it being too late, I actually know why. There's a very strong possibility, and this is why my doctor himself was freaking out, might have something called toxic hepatitis. It is an inflammation of the liver caused by exposure to chemicals. And that doesn't sound like something I should have because I'm home all day, but there's one problem. I have been surviving energy-wise off of energy drinks for about 2.5 years now, and that's doing irreparable damage to my liver as we speak. Essentially, it's not severe now, even though I've been untreated for like 6 months. But if I do go untreated, this could actually be a life-threatening thing, because it could cause liver failure. So, biggest part of that is that I'm not going to be drinking Monsters anymore, no matter how bad the migraines get. I've been told that just drinking plain water should help me get over the caffeine deficiency migraines, specifically tap water, because there's no like added chemicals or shit, which is funny because St. Louis has chlorine in our water. Look up MK Ultra. It's a whole fucking weird ass situation that happened here decades ago. But hi, Pyroman. Good morning, bud. And just if I've seemed down or different, there's a very simple reason for that. As you all know, there was a controversy in my community about 4 months ago now. I'm assuming 5 now, knowing my time management. My ability to keep track of time is horrible. I recently had to remove someone from not only my communities, from my entire life when I found out they were not on the up and up. And whereas when you expose a predator, you expect you expect something good to happen, like, oh, okay, cool, you know, you help the underage people in your community. The majority of the people I trusted, loved, and cared about turned on me like a pack of wolves. And to this day, I'm still psychologically trying to, and emotionally trying to recover from the trauma of it, because don't get me wrong, I tackle racial issues. I talk people down from suicide. I talk people through their traumas. I'm a 2-time suicide survivor myself. I'm also a male grooming and rape survivor myself. So yes, I'm very familiar with trauma. But it was a whole new low to be turned on by people I handpicked for my organization, as well as people I've known for going on 20 years. And I'll be honest, I've felt broken the past few months. I was conflicted as fuck when I made the decision, and now more than ever, I'm even more conflicted. My wife, being the huge support system that she is, has been constant in like, no, you did the right thing. That was predatory behavior. You took action. Nothing wrong with that. I don't know. It's causing me to have nightmares. And that's the other thing I want to go to. I've been having, what are they called? I'm sorry, I'm still waking up. I've been having severe fucking night terrors for the past 8 months. There's an ongoing brewing war in my family between some of the relatives I'm closest to, and at the center of it all is my mother, who is a narcissistic monster. I won't go into too much details about my parents' like marriage or whatever, but it's never been happy and it's never been stable, and it's gotten to the point where my father himself is asking us to get my mother to see reason, because my dad is so miserable in that marriage that he's high as fuck every fucking time I talk to him. He's the only one that's ever brought income into that house. Hi, kitty. Shadow just fell between the couch and the table.
Careful, kitty.
Dumbass. But yeah, I'll be honest, I'm just gonna flat out say it. I've devoted nearly my entire life to helping people. So when so many fucking people turned on me for making that decision, it made me realize the other day that I'm not even heard about it anymore. I'm fucking pissed. I'm not a horrible person. I'm not some malicious person or malicious entity out to cause trouble. I just want to help people. And like I said, I'm already used to getting shit on for speaking out on racial, political, and world issues as a white man. So that was nothing new. I get death threats for that all the time. Everyone knows I have a vendetta against shit like race washing, tokenization, and racism in general, in all forms from all races. But this was a whole new low I had never experienced. I have never been brutally attacked by people I have built a family with, essentially. Like, that was what the community was to me at the time, was they weren't just friends to me, they were family. And this was back when my own actual family was still falling apart. It's in pieces now, by the way. All the narcissism, the abuse, all the revelations coming to light in my family, it's never going to be the same. It's something I've had to face for a while now. And whereas my sister Crystal and me have tried to basically expose all of it, because my uncle doesn't even know what my dad used to be like, which I think is fucked up considering his sister is my mother. But this whole thing with Sunscale, I'm not going to say his actual name because legally it's just, there's no reason to. The only thing I regret in that whole situation was making it public on the Discord, because, and a lot of people don't know this, he had already been hacked. His account was hacked on Discord, so he was no longer even in the server. So I do agree that that was not necessary, as well as the fact that I should have put it in the moderator-only chat. I have been silenced, literally silenced by my own mod, specifically my buddy Bloodbath, who simply said, let's stop talking about this. And I'm sorry, man. I'm going to just say, fuck that. This is causing me actual fucking pain that I am losing sleep over, that I'm losing my health over. I'm waking up every day to more hate messages and to more voicemails and more fucking PlayStation messages of getting kicked out of friend groups with people I thought were family to me. And you are more than right to disagree with my decision to cut the person off. That is your right, free will and all that. I will never take that from you. I will say this, though. I did not deserve fucking death threats for doing what I essentially thought was the right thing to do. Hi, Shadow. My own wife was worried about my mental health because of how bad it impacted us. Like, we knew Sunscale for a very long time. And I'm going to go into the whole money thing. Like I said, I'm being 100% transparent because I'm tired of this shit. I've heard that there's still rumors and lies being spread, so I'm setting the record straight. Clearing my name, quote unquote. I haven't done anything wrong other than apparently cutting off a pedo, which is apparently a horrible thing to do now. But essentially, Sunscale, again, not using his real name, was financially assisting us the past few years. He's the reason we were able to keep the boys, and he helped us out with supplies every once in a while. At first, we asked him, and I always told him, hey, do you want me to pay you back? And he said, yes, when you can. So I'm like, okay, I'll start slowly saving up to pay him back. Eventually, we stopped asking, and then he would just hear that we were struggling and send us money against our will. And I know it's like, oh, he's sending you money, so horrible. It is when you get punished for it later. And it was fucked up because he would make a whole game out of it where he'd be like, how much do you need? I'm like, I guess $20. I'm like, we don't need it right now. You need it more. He's like, I'm happy to help. I'm your friend. You would do the same for me. And that is true because the one time he did actually ask me for money, sent it to him without hesitation. He made a game out of it where it's like, oh, how much do you need? I said, I don't need money. He's like, okay, I'll send you 20. I'm like, no, Thomas. Or Sunscale, sorry. No, Sunscale. And he's like, okay, I'll send you 30. I'm like, stop. And he said, okay, I'll send you 40. And I would immediately try and send it back, and he would immediately send it back. And this would go on and on and on for months. And it got to the point where even my adopted sister Eggs, and a few other friends were like, hey, if he's helping you, accept it. It's not like you're begging him for money. And I still, to this day, feel guilty about all of it because I'm like, even though he was sending it to me without asking, it's still money. You know what I mean? I know better than anyone how much it sucks to not have money, to be able to basically survive and have the bare necessities. Fuck, now that song's stuck in my head. But it was so fucking frustrating when one day I wake up and he's blowing up my phone that I fucked up his credit when we never asked him for the money in the fucking first place. And so about a few months ago, I'll slow down. Sunscale had a history of dating people younger and younger. He was 25, fair enough. You date someone 23, 22, whatever. But it went from someone who was like 21 to 20 to 19 to 17. And we just saw a pattern, my wife and I. And I'm like, okay, no, I've got to say something. He came to our home in person. And I still have that stream up with my mic muted, because obviously private conversation between he and him. But you can see my reaction. He had met someone on a dating app who he told us at the time was 18, but we found out later he lied his ass off about that. He got a call while at our place that he was outside for like 30 minutes. And it said that the person was claiming that the person he was trying to date was actually younger, which is why I say 16. Because later on in the Discord, he personally made a new Discord to go into my community and flat out call me a liar and admitted the guy was actually younger than he told us. Basically, he told on himself. So I'm like, okay, no, is enough, right? I'm cutting this off. Well, he sends me paragraphs about how I made him feel like a monster, and then he said something that to this day still kind of sticks with me. And it's made me question who is still actually by my side to this day. He said, give me a sec, I'll scroll up. How does it feel to know... Hold on. What hurts even more is the fact that you still kept twisting the details and lying to people even after you cleared everything on your platform for a clean site. We've all tried helping you. The only thing you wanted from us was easy money and worship. That's the other thing. He knows better than anybody that I have hated myself for the past 20 years. And that's not due to, like, things to do with the community or anything. It's just life itself has been beating the fuck out of me. I've been facing constant losses, constant tragedies. Again, I was fucking raped and groomed. There's not really any survival on that. Do you question my upside? God, no. Darkness. You, Power Man, 420, all the runners in the community, Bloodbath. I trust all of you. That's why you guys are still my mods. If I had no trust in you, I would tell you personally. So that's why I'm telling you. Anyone who is in my community currently right now that I have not come to personally said that I no longer trust you, you have my trust. Aw, respect, Power Man. Oh, is that Coco? This is adorable. And I just realized the one above is the girl from Hat in Time. Respect. But he literally accused me of charity fraud. And you could literally pull up my Tiltify page, my fucking Gmail if you need to show that I have been busting my ass by myself, by the way, setting up all these charity streams, other than what Darkness's mom helped me set up a few years ago, which thank you, Queen Survivor. Love you, Mom. I guess I'm good then. Yes, you're fine, Claudia. But essentially, I lost the respect of all of my peers. I lost the respect of other charity streamers. I lost the respect of Samaritans, an organization it has been my dream to continue working with. All because I essentially did what I thought was the right thing for the underage members of our community. Also, hi, I just want to let you know I'm always here for you, man. Oh, thank you, Cloudy. I'm actually surprised by the turnout. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. But to reiterate for everybody joining in, I'm going into why I had to cut off Sunscale. Again, I'm not using his name because I'm not using his real name because a weird part of me just still doesn't want him to get attacked. And that's the part that's like conflicted. I know for a fact I did the right thing because my wife has been consistently telling me that. And even Eggs, before she cut me off, was telling me the same thing. And Darkness, being a father yourself, you speaking from that perspective, you're like, yeah, no, you did the right thing, as did Hatred. The only ones who haven't are, I believe, Justin, Nick, and Sean, who basically say that it's fine. But yeah, trying not to use his name. Exactly. This one was here. You rock, man. I'll reiterate my health. I might have something called toxic hepatitis. As you guys know, I have been trying to get off of energy drinks, but I've been failing miserably due to burnout, depression, and, I'll be honest, feeling betrayed and broken because of the whole Sunscale situation. Again, these are people I've talked to for going on 20 years that just turned on me like a pack of wolves. I was sent death threats by Ishii and fucking Spirit for speaking out. And while I do regret bringing it up in the Discord because, again, Sunscale was already hacked on Discord, well-known fact now, I don't regret cutting him off personally. He lied to my face, Brittany's faces directly, while I was streaming, only to tell on himself the next day in the Discord that the person was actually 17, only for us to then realize the caller who told him that the person was younger was a concerned relative. He then tried to twist the situation and say he was jailbaited, or that he was catfished, right? Isn't that the term? Which is what I thought I was with my ex, India, for a while. Turns out, no. It was just a long-distance relationship. She's actually in the Discord. It was a healthy relationship. We didn't work out because long distance, but we're still friends. She's also an incredible artist. I'll put a link to her Twitter if you guys want to support her art. She mainly does NSFW art, but it's pretty good stuff. But yeah, just I've spent, again, reiterating because there's people joining. I apologize. I'll be doing it a couple times. I have spent the past 14 years of my goddamn life talking people down from suicide, trying to stop myself from committing suicide, and doing everything in my fucking power to help people through their traumas. As someone who, as people like to make jokes about, seriously can't seem to catch a fucking break. And I'm tired of being told it's just life. No, I had to bury my kid. I had to cut off my closest friend of all time, which is now Darkness and Nick. Love you guys. All because I did the right thing. Well, Suki died because my parents are idiots, but that's beside the point. And that's the other thing. It's coming up on a year from it, and it's like, I get a lot of shit. They're like, it's just a cat, it's just a cat. This is a cat I raised for 13 years. This is the closest thing I'm going to have to an actual child because I don't trust myself to be a parent. Love you, Darkness. My wife and I are great to our two fur babies. We're great to each other. We're good people. But we know we could never be parents. Not because we'd be abusive, but because we wouldn't have the time to give them. We wouldn't have the money to support them. We don't want to bring a kid into a world if they're just going to fucking starve like we are. I'd love to be a dad. And that's why I'm happy we have Shadow and Jess, the closest thing we have. I'm hopping topics. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm not okay. So essentially, the long and short of it when it comes to the whole Sunscale situation is I felt betrayed. I felt like everything I had done the past 14 years amounted to fucking nothing. Because when I needed everyone the fucking most, the majority of you, not everybody in the chat, but you know what I mean, from the old community and from my charity stuff, turned on me. And I'll be completely honest, yes, I was fucking suicidal. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I've been through suicidal ideation for years because shit just doesn't calm down for us. Brittany's mom is somehow back in fucking St. Louis ready to attack again. My mother is starting another goddamn war with our family because she refuses to get help. And apparently it's toxic to literally ask her, hey, please take care of yourself. We love you. We want you to get better. She even cut off my older sister as a fucking result of it. And the sad part is, like, referring to my family, my mother is the nicest fucking person you'll ever meet when she's in a good mood. She's very sweet. And like me, she helps people. But that's the thing about narcissists. When they show their true colors, it is a force to be reckoned with. It is an oncoming storm that no one can do anything about. So the best option is just to distance yourself, which is what I'm doing. But back to the Sunscale situation, I'll reiterate the money part, because this is the main thing that I got attacked over. Yes, it is 100% true. Sunscale was helping us financially the past few years. On and off, honestly. So at first, yes, it was us asking for assistance, especially when we were trying to keep the boys because our landlord was being a fucking douchebag. He was trying to kick us out because we got the boys a week before we could talk to him about them because my brother Sean did not actually keep his end of the bargain. He didn't get them not castrated. He didn't get them neutered, and he did not get them their shots and everything. So we didn't even have time to talk to our landlord about it, and he almost threw us out. Thomas sent us, I shit you not, $400 to keep them. And I know this because I wrote it fucking down. Then we kept running into food troubles. He would send us like $20-30 every once in a while. And then it got consistent. At first, we tried to pay him back. We couldn't. And I just said, okay, then I'll stop asking and we'll, put money together, pay him back. That way, we're not still asking, and we can pay him back. That's when it started. That's when the big fucking problem started. And I'll get into like the emotional abuse and everything too, because that was actually the main reason I cut him off. I do have to mention his ex's name, unfortunately. He would send us money just for finding out we were struggling. And even Eggs and our other friends, Darkness included, was like, okay, it's fine. You're not leeching. He's sending you money you are not asking for. You're fine. You're not being a shitty friend. And I'm like, I'm not okay with this. Because I know Thomas. He doesn't take no for an answer. And he doesn't understand that you are not supposed to put yourself behind to help somebody out.
You accidentally mentioned his real name.
Oh, sorry. Sunscale. And Thomas Sunscale, you guys know him from the community. So, there. So he'd made it a game essentially that whenever we would say no, and he's like, oh, how much do you need? Like $20? And I'm like, fine, whatever, right? Just to satiate him. Just like, okay, fine, it's $20, I'll just pay it back when I get paid. And I'm like, at first I'm like, no. And he's like, all right, I'll send you 30. And I'm like, no. And then he said, all right, I'll send you 40. He would make a game out of it. Well, one day this all came to a head. I woke up one day, and him and I were talking, and he just blew a fucking gasket at both Brittany and I, saying that we destroyed his credit. He also admitted that we were not the only person he was giving money to. He was giving money to an ex-coworker of his that wasn't even a coworker of his. He gave money essentially to someone who was homeless, which is wholesome, right? But still, help yourself first so you can help others. It's what I'm starting to learn these days. So it just got to the point where I wasn't even didn't feel guilty. I just felt pissed. Because it's like, okay, how much of this is actually us then if you're giving this many people money? Well, I believe it was in August of last year. because I had to pull these screenshots up recently. I sent him $347 fucking dollars. As a result, Brittany and I starved for 2 weeks. And what I mean by starved is we had tiny bit of food, but nothing substantial. We were basically living off of scraps. And he didn't even bat an eye. So, on to the emotional abuse, and this is the big reason I cut him off. Because I was going to cut him off anyway. Once I had paid him back, my idea was to cut him off because I was just done. Darkness can attest to this because he was in some of the group chats where this was all happening. Him and I used to play Elden Ring a lot. You guys remember Peyton from the old community, an old friend of mine. Him and I are cool now. Dude's just busy. But him, me, and Thomas used to play what's known as the Soulsborne series. So Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, 2, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring. And that was fine. Sunscale started dating someone named Martel. And this was the biggest red flag for me. Oh yeah, Knockout City, when he would just fucking blow up at all of us. It didn't even matter what it was. Like, if he would lose, he was also a major perfectionist, which, again, neither here nor there, whatever. Markiplier is too. So there's ways to manage that kind of thing. But Knockout City, there was an incident where we were all playing, and he just blew a fucking gasket. Like, I'm shit. And it was like, we're legitimately concerned. And that's when we found out about Martel. Martel was this person in his 30s, which, again, age appropriate, fair enough, that Sunscale was seeing for about, I want to say, 3 months? Something like that?
Well, I don't know about that, considering the guy was pushing 40.
And I'm saying, compared to the other situation, it's more legal. He was seeing this person long distance at first. This was someone training to be a pastor, which I already saw as a red flag, because most of the people I know like that have been scumbags. But I wasn't going to generalize. I was giving him a fair chance. So I'm like, okay, I met him. He seemed nice. Sunscale moved in with him. They lived in a motel, and Sunscale was drained dry of his money. This fucker owes him like $4,000. Me, Kitten, Kiwi Kitten on PlayStation, all warned Thomas, please be careful. You have a bad habit of just jumping into things and not thinking things through. He was in love. What could we do, right? It's his decision. Fine. We'll support it. Just please be careful. Well, he wasn't. And he got scammed out of $4,000. He then got scammed out of another, I think, $300 due to crypto scams twice. And then the whole thing happened with the 17/16-year-old, which I'm convinced the person was 16. He lied about the person's age being 18. They turned out to actually be 17, as he told on himself in the Discord. And the caller said they were 16 and, quote-unquote, were concerned about him. But Thomas did not heal. He did not address his issues. He did not get help for his psychological issues with the betrayals he was going through. And I tried to be a good friend. Again, Darkness can attest for this. I was there for him when he needed me. Every single fucking time. What I got in response was him screaming at me like a maniac. He would blatantly attack me. And Brittany even came out of the bedroom one time because she was asleep one night when him and I were playing Elden Ring. I actually ended his stream just so that the fight wouldn't be heard out of respect for him. Because of what he was going into. And he literally fucking called me Martel. And that was the last straw. I just flat out fucking told him, you need to fucking stop. I already deal with Brittany taking it out on me when her mother's around. I don't need to deal with your shit too. I warned you ahead of time. I didn't tell you what you could or couldn't do because you're a grown-ass man who can make his own decisions. I gave you a warning that this was not the good idea. This was a very dangerous thing to do. And I told him flat out, if you go off on me like this again, I will cut you off. 20 years means nothing to me. And it's gotten to this point where I've just been able to now cut people off without a second thought. Hi, kiddo. This is the baby. Hi, Jet. This is my baby. He's the one who claimed me. So that was the emotional abuse. And that was the whole situation with Thomas. It was like, I'm just going to call him Thomas, fuck it. And so I cut him off. I sent him a text message, which I can pull up right now. I'll just read the whole conversation. There's no, like, legal bullshit in it or anything, but He put, hey, I know you're upset given what I told you, and I understand how you feel. Just know that I'll still be here, even if you move on to better things. I said, I understand, goodbye. And I put, because this is back when I was conflicted about it, and I still am somewhat to this day, I put, I hurt you badly, and I did so because I reacted as if you were Solaria. I did not give you the benefit of the doubt. I let my fear and paranoia consume me. Because this is what he was telling me I was doing. I am eternally sorry for the pain I have caused you, and I do not ever expect nor think I deserve forgiveness. I only wish to mend the pain I have caused you. I sincerely wish the best for you, and I will always cherish the decades of friendship we shared. I am a horrible person, but I don't care about the guilt. I care that I caused you pain. I'm sincerely sorry, man. Because in my eyes, from my pretty much the entire Discord turning on me, I had this realization. It's like, okay, am I doing the right thing? And now, even though I know for a fact now that yes, I was, other than bringing it up in the Discord, obviously, I was conflicted about it. And he said, you did more than hurt me, Duncan. You treat me like I was a monster. Slandered my name to all of your social media like you did with everyone else that you cut ties with. He's referring to Hot Mess Paisan, who I cut off because she was brutally attacking Tech God. He was basically making the point that weight is not a reason to treat someone positively or negatively. That you should just be comfortable with yourself. And it's a true message. But this unintentionally triggered Terragram, who was a friend of Paisan's, who had history with weight issues, and so she blew up at Sean. I asked what the hell was going on, because I was not even in the conversation at the time, and that's when they went off on me. So I just cut them off. Left me feeling used after how much we've been and how close we've been and how much I've helped you all, despite one person bringing money into the household, and you even tried hiding your wrongs so that no one suspected that you were lying for twisting the truth. I'm beyond hurt after years of us being close and knowing each other, and that's not something that can easily be fixed with apologies. I'm left wondering how much you would be good parents if it wasn't for your financial situation. Thank you, I appreciate that, and agreed. I'm left wondering how much stuff you've lied about as well, and needing time to heal from you lashing out with trauma. That's a bit hypocritical, isn't it? I'll check up on you when I can, but I'm going to be taking time to heal from the damage. I understand. Hey man, I thought about a lot about what happened, and I just want to say that I'm sincerely sorry for making it a public issue. Me cutting you off was okay, but making it a public thing was beyond messed up. May you move on to greater things. Thank you sincerely for the friendship we did have. Because even though he was a predator, I didn't know him as that, right? And I wanted to show appreciation for the person he was before I found out he was that. And so I thought that was the way to go about it. He's like, you knew what you were doing. The fact that you waited until I was at home and unable to act upon your behavior stung. What hurts even more is the fact that you still kept twisting the details and lying to people even after you cleared everything on your platforms for a clean slate. We've all tried helping you, and the only thing you wanted from us was easy money and worship. Hope the fake charities, again, I can pull up my Tiltify, and my $2,500, aka the money he's been asking that he's been giving to other people that he is now charging me because I'm the only person who quote unquote hurt him that he can physically get to. Something I called him out on was worth pushing everyone away and breaking everyone's trust over your stories and inconsistencies. Okay. I was 17 years old when I met them. 18 when I was groomed and raped by Solaria. I met Brittany when I was 21 years old. We started dating when I was 22. I became a streamer the same year I met Brittany. That's why my very first video on my YouTube channel is a Dark Souls 3 video with just the generic titling. I put, to clarify some things, the charity was real, and I only ever asked for financial help in actual emergencies, on top of which I actively worked to pay you back despite you yourself telling me not to unless able. Second, I never twisted facts. You in my home told me me and Britt, the kid, was 18. Then said you got a call claiming the person was much younger than on my Discord. Then on my Discord, you openly said the person was 17 and that you were catfished. I cut you off because I was horrifically uncomfortable with the idea that a 25-year-old was actively pursuing someone they believed to have been 17. To me and Britt and Eggs, it was very pedo. Eggs is 16, by the way. So this, of course, personally affected her. As for worship, I hate myself, and I'm just now focusing on my mental health. Oh, thank you. Because for the past 20 years, I have put everyone else first, something you yourself pointed out. I cut you off because even the apparent pedo-ish behavior aside, you and I were drifting apart. Both from you constantly taking out your issues with Martel out on me, and due to you constantly blowing up at me and whoever we gained with over the smallest issues. It's ironic you bring up the money since you never asked me to pay you back in the first place, and yet I actively worked towards finding a job to do so, then settled on using my money to do so instead regardless of the risk, all to be a good friend and show appreciation. As for the worship thing, I don't see myself as better than anyone, and actively promoting treating everyone equally, something you yourself actually thanked me for. As for the 2K, how much money was me actually asking, again, only in emergencies such as food and the boys' treatment, and how much was the hundreds of times you literally just heard we were struggling and you sent us money, and always, and always when we did ask, more than I ever asked, to the point I literally kept asking you to keep it if you need it, and only help if you could. Yeah, he was sending us money. You were talking so much you were making me thirsty. It's a lot to go over. Yeah, he kept sending us more than we actually asked for too, which was another big problem. We would only ask for like 10 or 20 bucks because we would need like little necessities here and there, say like shampoo, conditioner, something, right? Or even just cat litter. So that shit's expensive now. So I literally always tried to send you back the money. It was more than we actually asked for, and again, insisted to only help if you could. As for the charities, that was all real. Samaritans is a legit suicide prevention organization I'm continuing to work with, and despite how much people donated, I always donated money I didn't have just to make sure the cause was getting support. Yeah, the past few charity streams, no one's donated. And so I made a kind of thing that whenever I get a PB, I would donate $50. And I didn't get a single PB in the trilogy, but in the trifecta itself, I got a new record. So like I said, I am deeply sorry for the public aspect, and I stand by my decision to cut you off, though I do want to do so peacefully, as regardless of how I felt about your actions, I still want you to move on to greater things. Again, confliction is real. The irony of all this is, despite cutting you off, I was still more than willing to pay you the last $30 to this day. Yeah, I still owe him $30 that I was willing to pay him. Oh, and that was the other thing that really hit Britt and I really weirdly, and this is how we knew something wasn't right. When his parents called him when he was at our place, he lied where he was. He didn't say he was at our place. He said he was somewhere where Brittany and Duncan just so happened to also be, which was just shady as fuck. I never twisted anything, despite what you did being legal to me, my wife, and Eggs, the biggest person who was trying to get me to see I did the right thing, that I was morally wrong. I was being told to go through with it, despite being conflicted to the point that even after I did cut you off, I was conflicted. My actions were not of avaricious intent. I truly did believe I was doing what was best, though realizing now you had already been hacked by then and therefore were not on the server, I do agree making it a public thing instead of just sending you the 30 and then cutting you off respectfully was the horrifically wrong decision to make. But even then, yeah. I'll go into it in a minute. I'm reading the conversation. Suffice to say, a lot has happened. I'm conflicted even now and even tried to do what I could to apologize the day it all happened. There's nothing I can do to atone, so I'm trying to at least explain my intentions and why I did everything I did. In the end, you will believe about me what you will, but I will be sincere about it all. Your feelings are justified and valid. At the same time, your accusations are false. Let me ask you this, Thomas. If I was as evil as you have painted me, then why even when I did cut you off, did all I want to do was apologize and try to fix the damage? Someone who is truly evil will not feel guilt and will not want to make up for a mistake. They will not be self-aware to understand, hey, they may have missed something and want to make amends. And a truly evil person will delight in causing chaos. Trust me, I deal with my wife's mother. That's exactly what she's like. I tried to do the actual day when it all happened, when I felt it was in the wrong with both Eggs and Britt telling me that I wasn't. You have known me for 20 years. You know I always have the best intentions and always try to be sincere, so why see me as a demon? As for waiting until you weren't home, no, I legitimately panicked. Once Britt explained why I was wrong and immediately acted, saying it was all fishy, even pointing out how you were dating people younger and younger. Brittany's the one who pointed out the pattern. Neither of us wanted to unintentionally enable something that could become horrible. And he's like, I was screwed over by a jailbait scam. No minors were involved. I thought I explained that. No, you specifically said the person was 18, then on the Discord admitted that you lied and that the person was actually 17, though you even got a call that the person was even younger. I put, I'm truly sorry for the pain that I caused you. What you did say, however, was that you thought the caller was the catfish, but not the actual person from the app. It wasn't until after I cut you off that I was told the age of consent was 17, not 18. Which, again, not the issue if the person was really 16. Had to cut off my oldest and closest friend because he turned out to be a pedo. And As a result, my streaming career is dead. My Humans United project is dead. My charity efforts are dead because the parents of the children I've been talking down from suicide, the teenagers, and even adults, will not associate with me because I associated with Thomas. So not only has this personally affected my mental and physical health, this has damaged everything I've been building my entire life. Humans United was my baby. This is something I came up with as my center point for my suicide prevention, mental health, racial, political, and world issues. And I was fucking betrayed by people I trusted. I was turned on by my friends, by my family, by people I gave a shit about. Everyone in the chat, you're fine. You know who I'm talking about. And I appreciate it. Thank you, Stevie. Love you, buddy. To reiterate, I might have toxic hepatitis from being obsessively drinking Monsters due to an addiction I've had to them. Had no idea caffeine addiction was actually a major thing, but yes, it is. I've been drinking Monsters for 2 years nonstop, pretty much, and now it's starting to show in my health. Toxic hepatitis is caused by exposure to chemicals. Specifically in Monsters, it's the chemical known as niacin, which you're only supposed to have like 0.4 milligrams a day. It has more than 230% that amount in the specific Monster I drink, the white one. Zero Plus Ultra, I think it's called. So yeah, I'm just going to put it out there. I was pissed. I was devastated. I was fucking bawling my eyes out that so many people I loved, that I looked up to, that I trusted as family, as friends, as siblings, betrayed me for doing the right thing of all things. I'm still royally fucking pissed. But I wanted to set the record straight. There was no fucking money scam. I tried to pay him back. In fact, I actively did pay him back. I paid him $237 fucking dollars that he never even acknowledged. If you need to talk to someone, you can DM me if it will make you feel better a little bit, or you just need to let everything out, bro. That's a friend's work. I appreciate it, man. I'm just trying to process everything. Caffeine addiction, how much a day? Well, Monsters have about 250 milligrams of caffeine. And I've been drinking those every single day to stay awake. And I do want to point out something. The burnout's not from streaming. I've been getting a lot of messages. I appreciate your concern. No, the streaming has been going very smoothly. It's been very relaxing for me. As far as job goes, 2-liter Mountain Dew. Basically, Monsters have aspartame in them as well. They have aspartame, niacin, and of course caffeine. All three of which are detrimental to your health in excess doses, which is what I've been drinking. You'll also notice I do something with my mouth. I have something called facial dyskinesia. I've been told it's either a result of the caffeine or it could be a result of the traumas I've been going through my entire life, because not many people know this. About 14 years ago, I was 14, 15. One of my friends was about to be raped by their bully, and I stepped in to protect them, and I got the fucking shit beaten out of me by the person and their two friends. And it caused like facial bullshit. I also, and this is why I never wear like tank tops or whatever. A lot of people don't know this. The tops of my shoulder blades are completely skinned off. Like, it's nothing but scar tissue, because back in high school, I've gone into this story. I was on the swimming team, and there was a guy named Jabori who got in my ear and screamed in my ear because I was pissed that I didn't make it to the professional part of the team or whatever. Like, I didn't make it to the team. I was just in the class. And so I threw his comb down the steps. He picked me up by my throat, pinned me to the door, and threw me down the concrete steps. I fucked up. I busted my hand, busted my head open, skinned my shoulder blades, as well as my kneecaps, which I still have pictures of on my Nintendo DSi. I look like I got bit by a fucking zombie. So that could also be a cause of it. But that's why you'll see me doing this a lot. Like I said, I'm trying to be as transparent as possible because there's a lot. Because there's one thing I'm not, and that's a liar. I've always been truthful and honest with everything I've said, especially to you guys, because I want to be as transparent as I can be. There are certain things I won't talk about, right? Like my wife and I's intimacy, obviously. Like, we'll make jokes like, yeah, you're about to get laid, or snoo snoo, but no details, because again, that's private. But basic things like that won't be talked about. Moving on to the family thing. As anyone who's in the old Discord knows, there was a war between my family recently. My mother, I do want to preface this when she's in a good mood. Like I said, she's a nice person on the planet. She is actively starting a war with everyone in the family for trying to get her to get help. My mother is a textbook narcissist, through in and throughout. My sister was the first one to try and talk reason to her, but she didn't listen and instead has actually cut her off now. And my dad privately reached out to my sister, who sent it to me, that, hey, your mother's stubbornness, her inability to listen to reason, and her inability to go seek help is destroying our marriage. Can you guys help me convince her? And I just told him flat out, you can't help someone that doesn't want to help themselves. So there's that I've been having night terrors due to that. I've had night terrors that Thomas is going to fucking do something. Yeah. Last time I checked, we didn't have a war. Like I said, a lot's happened. Streams will continue as normal, by the way. I don't see any reason to stop them. They're not like a negative impact on my health or anything. And with Super Mario Eclipse specifically, it's been a very pleasant playthrough. There was an incident on Mother's Day this year. I went to see my family, and my mother, through crocodile tears, tried to guilt trip me for her having to take me to the doctor when I was a kid. My mom is only somewhat sick. Your mom, I'm glad. Is she recovering, by the way? In my opinion, probably a break will be good for you to make things good. I can't afford it, but it's only my opinion. I've gone into this quite a few times. I only wanted the streaming to be a hobby. Because of our situation, now I have to make it a job. Because all these places around us are hiring, but no one is hiring me or Britt. And this is a pattern we've had since we moved here. This has been a pattern since I was a teenager. Is that just because places are hiring, and this is something very important to note, does not mean they will fucking hire you. So I'm gonna have to make streaming my actual job. Which is fine because I already have affiliateship with Twitch. I'm only 73 viewers per stream away from partnership. So yeah. Yes, and if those that shall not be mentioned want you as far as I care, we are your family. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. I'm not gonna lie. I've been broken. As dark, as depressed, as dramatic as that sounds. Like I've struggled to return to my stuff. I've struggled to come to terms with who I am because of everything that's happened with Thomas, with my family. And I scared Brittany the other day because I mentioned something, and it's something I've thought about a lot. It's like, it takes strength to be a kind person after going through cruelty and abuse. It takes strength to be nice. It is easier, and it is easy to flip that switch and just not give a shit about anyone or anything and become cruel. It is an ongoing battle that I guarantee you all of you probably have sometimes as well, of deciding whether or not this is who you want to be, or do you want to continue being the person you are now. And I just want you guys to know that I have had that moment recently. I came very close to just completely cutting all empathy and compassion I have for everybody. But that I realized it wasn't the answer. It's not who I am to instill cruelty or chaos. I am through and through someone who gives a shit about people just a little bit too much. And I promise that I'm not going to change that. That despite all this bullshit, that I'm still me. I'm still helping people. I'm still going to be there for each and every one of you. I'm still going to say stupid jokes. I'm still going to stream for you guys. I'm still going to do charity events. Darkness and I are talking about a charity stream, but we're going to build up to it slowly. Because we noticed there was a pattern. There wasn't much interactivity with the charity streams. And if we are going to do this, we want to take it seriously and make sure the cause actually gets support this time. And not just from me spending $50. But I can promise, I'm not okay at the moment, but I can promise you I will be. And Duncan, almost everyone got some dark time in life, but that dark time which was cannot determine anything of who you are now. You care about people, you're making good things, and this is your strength, bro. I'm really proud of you, and you're making it through with your power. Jesus, I love it. Oh, thank you, Stevie. I appreciate it sincerely. You have an awesome stream. If you want more viewers for your stream... Pretty sure this is a bot. Apologies, white-haired farmstead, if you're not a bot, but bye-bye. It is a bot. Okay, I don't like banning actual people unless they do something crooked, like the whole graphic designer spam, which is finally stopped, by the way. And I'll go into some things that I haven't actually openly talked about before in terms of the community. When it comes to Hot Mess Paisan, Terragram, Chris and Ale, who were friends of Tech God, I actually had legitimate reasons to cut them off. Chris and Ale, Chris kept calling my wife a, I don't want to say the word. Let's just say the female version of the N-word. Constantly. We got another bot. Nightbot. Nice one, Darkness. I need to change the Nightbot thing. It's only supposed to go on like every hour or so, not 50 minutes. But I might change it to like an hour and a half since I'm doing longer streams these days. Chris and Ale actively kept calling my wife the N-word, the female version. And Chris was kind of a Nazi sympathizer. I could not support that. Laugh, I win. You fucker. People have been asking Darkness when you want to do Satisfactory and Chain Together. I know you're going through a lot yourself right now. I know you're not talking to me about a lot of it, which is fine, because you're still kind of going through the motions. Probably also tired from work. You're also a father, so you've got that responsibility. So I'm just letting you know I am understanding that you're taking a little longer to respond because you're busy. So no worries. It's not, he doesn't like me. No worries. I do want to address that with Hot Mess Paisan, it was... Her friend Terragram did not take kindly to Tech God mentioning VC when I get home in 5 minutes. Sounds good. And Tech God said, Sean, I'm his guy in my Discord. He said, and I quote, weight is not a reason to judge someone any which way, positive, negative. It's just not a reason, a barometer you should judge people by. And I do agree. Your weight does not dictate your morality. Neither does your race, your orientation, or anything like that. I don't believe in anyone's appearance, unless you're like obviously wearing hate symbols like swastikas, as a reason to treat someone any which way, right? And that's a good message. He unintentionally triggered Terragram, Paisan's friend, who had a history of issues with her weight and everything. And I understand that now, but back then, obviously I didn't. My sister Crystal helped me understand it. Shout out to my sister, by the way. She's an awesome lady. She's the reason I got into video games and anime. She even has both the original Kingdom Hearts in the original boxes, all of the Spyro PS1 games in their original cases, and all of the original Tomb Raiders in their original cases. Like I said, fucking badass. But she ended up lashing out at Sean. And again, fair enough, I guess. I don't think he realized he triggered her. Sean is very cold and very logical. And I don't mean as in cruel. I mean, he's very logical. He's logic driven, which is completely fine. But as a result, she lashed out. I jumped in and was like, what the hell's going on? And I read everything that was being said, and there wasn't really anything fatphobic being said. It was just, don't use weight to treat someone any which way. Which I get. I think the way she took it, which is completely fair again, is... oh, so I can't celebrate that I'm losing weight kind of thing. When that's not what he meant. He just meant that people get bullied for it, then that's not fair. I'm like, fair enough, whatever. I went to Paisan to tell her about it, and she's like, oh, so you're here to snitch on Terragram? I'm just like, no, she's causing a discourse in the Discord over a mature conversation that everybody was having about an actual issue of people weight shaming people. I am gaining weight myself, unfortunately, so I know the feeling. And she's like, oh, you're just snitching. You're just protecting that douchebag. And she's like, he put his foot in his mouth again. And I'm like, oh, okay. So there's a history here that's purposely not being told to me. I'm like, what do you mean again? And she's like, oh, you should know. And I'm just like, no, I don't. So I scrolled through the conversations, and there was nothing. And keep in mind, Paisan had a habit of going off on me. She would take her issues out on me all the time. It was her way of venting. So I just cut her off. Because I wasn't going to deal with the toxicity. But yeah, Chris and Ale, as you can now hear, definitely justified in cutting them off. I don't even think Sean realizes how fucked up they are. Not my place to say, though. And then, let's see, who else did we remove from the community? I'm trying to think. Oh, there was, Alex, my ex-girlfriend. This is a big one. Fair warning. Trigger warning. Alex, Insomniac Dream Streams on Twitch. Go ahead, check out her channel. She's actually a really sweet kid. I say kid because I'm older than her. That's how I refer to everybody. She's actually no. Alex is older than me because if I'm 28, she's 31. Anyway, she was a girl I dated in college. Very sweet lady. One of the only girlfriends that was actually nice to me at the time, other than my now wife, Brittany. And we broke up because, well, she was still finding herself. She discovered she was a lesbian, and I'm like, you're not a prisoner. If you're not happy, you're not happy. You're free to go. I'm not that kind of guy. So we broke up, and we stayed healthy friends as a result. But I have a problem with getting too attached to people. This happened with my very first girlfriend, and it's all due to trauma, believe it or not. A quick little recap on that. Again, it's a lot to go into. I was dating this girl, I'm going to call her Kay, back in high school, sophomore year. And what led to that was I was expelled from middle school. A lot of people don't know this. I was actually expelled from middle school for trying to return the X-Acto knife my teacher gave me to take home to work on my ceramics project. He even vouched for me, by the way. But because I was a troublemaker in school, like I would always seek attention and everything, they just threw me out. At first was long-term suspension, and then they expelled me, and my parents had the most funny responses like, we've already punished you for the long-term suspension. We're not going to double punish you because you were expelled. Unfortunately, due to the whole thing, I now know that wasn't the case, thankfully. My family did actually care, but psychologically back then I was in this mental space where no one and nobody gave a shit whether I lived or died. I was in what I call the darkness, which is like this void. You feel isolated from everyone in the world around you, and you're so depressed that you can't even lift your head to like look at your reflection, or you can't even get out of bed. And I to this day still think that's what took Chester. It's a very real concept, and it's a very real issue that almost cost me my life recently too. I'm still here. I'm okay. No worries. I'm not suicidal. That's the one thing I haven't been, surprisingly. She came up to me at this thing called game night. And she saw that I was crying. She saw that I was miserable. She's like, hey, are you okay? We talked. It was very nice. And then for shits and giggles, I asked her out. Like, hey, she's really cool. This is the kind of person I want to get to know. To my surprise, she, without hesitation, said yes. Oh, this neighbor scared the shit out of me. We went out the next day. We dated for about 2 months, which isn't a long time, especially at that age. Then we broke up. There's a lot I would go into that's like paranormal, but it's not important. I had a vision. I was basically in hell. Basically, we dated for 2 months. We had promised each other our V cards, and I was texting her about it at school, and one of my classmates looked over my shoulder, saw it, spread it around the school, and it got back to her. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I stupidly lied saying I didn't do it. What's V card? Virginity. She was going to be my first. And rightfully so, did not end up being the case, because I did not own up to what I did, and I was an asshole. She's like, how did they know? Only you knew. It was between us. And at first, I fucking lied. And I felt horrible. And so I sat on the end of my bed. I called her to try and fix things, be like, hey, I'm sorry. But I went into a trance. And for some reason, to this day, and Sean's even confirmed this, I was in hell. I was suspended by barbed chains in this pit. And I was fully aware of everything that was going on. And I could not, in good conscience, just allow things to end the way they were. So I woke myself up, and that's why I think it was a dream, obviously, but it did feel like a trance. Long story short, I have precognitions. It's really hard to talk about without sounding crazy because even though it's proven to be a thing now, people still don't believe it happens. I can see things before they happen. Basically, picture any memory in your mind right now. Focus on that memory to the point you're blocking everything around you. And it's a memory that hasn't happened yet. That's a precognition. And my wife gets them. I get them. My buddy D'Anthony gets them. Everybody seems to get them at times. It's scary. I ran back. I snapped out of it. I ran up to the loop. Tried to apologize. Met her at this place called Star Clipper, which is no longer there, for the Walking Dead Season 2 premiere, when Herschel's barn burns down. Just to give you an idea exactly what year this was. And she just said it's complicated and it's over, right? Typical breakup. No big deal. Unfortunately, mentally, I honestly believed that she was the only one who gave a shit whether I lived or died. So what should have been a healthy breakup became an obsession for 8 years that fucked up both our lives. There was no pain, no one got hurt or anything, thankfully, but I couldn't stop thinking about her. I couldn't stop talking about her. And so eventually in college, I finally just cut her off. The weird thing is, a few years before I met Britt, she literally came up to me because we were hanging out with a group of friends and she just happened to be there. And she's like, you were the only guy that was actually nice to me. And she's like, and I think I still love you for that. And I'm like, that time has passed. I've moved on and it would not be healthy to drudge that up. But that is why I have such a problem with getting attached to people, is because that isolation and that mental mindset left scars. So when I meet someone that I'm friends with or I'm really close to someone, I take it much harder than most normally would when I lose that person. Lover, friend, family member, doesn't matter. So that's why it fucking devastated me when Suki died so much. Well, she was my kid. Oh yeah, that explains that whole thing. But Alex was the girl I dated in college. A very sweet lady. Like I said, we broke up and everything. Yada, yada, yada. I became obsessed with her because of the same situation. We stayed friends, but I realized it was a bad idea because obsession is a scary thing. So we cut each other off. A few years later, so like a few girlfriends later, India and then Solaria, the woman who groomed and raped me, I met my now wife, Brittany. I actually technically met her as a customer while I was dating Solaria, which was weird. I took a year to heal from all that, and then something wholesome, because it's a lot of dark stuff right now. How I asked Brittany out was actually really cute. I went up to her job, I won't say the name, to get a gallon of milk, right? Wasn't it like her half gallon or something like that, Britt? How we met, how we started dating, the whole the milk thing.
You were just talking to me casually.
Yeah. I went up there to get a gallon of milk, and I thought, hey, the worst she can say is no. So I asked her out, and she said yes. We went out the next day. I don't ever share my entire life story with people, especially on the first date, but we both shared together, and here we are, going on 8 years later. So yeah, something wholesome. And apparently she had been thinking about me that day, so I thought that was really sweet. We fell in love at this place called City Museum, where I took her there because her and I never really had a childhood. My parents took me to like the circus every few years and like drive-ins, but as far as like an actual, God damn it, Stevie. So you've milked her? Sorry for bad joke, but it sounds funnier in my head. You're fine, it's funny. We went to this place called City Museum, which is like this huge fucking place where you can climb everything. If you've been to St. Louis, you know the place. And I took her there to give her back the childhood she never got to experience. And the way her eyes glowed with joy when she was there, that's when I fell head over heels for Brittany. But Alex, a few years ago, reached out to me and said, hey, I just found out I was an empath for my grandmother. Can you give me advice? I asked my wife if she was okay with this, because it's like, this is an ex. If you're not comfortable with this is fine. I've seen St. Louis only on Google Maps. It's a nice city at times. Certain organization destroyed it, unfortunately. I'll get into that too, by the way. I am going to get into that. I'm going to be completely transparent on that. The whole BLM shit. And I said, and Brittany said yes. Just be careful. It's an X. They're X's for a reason. I'm like, fair enough. So I gave her advice about the precognitions, how to block them out. You can meditate and kind of train yourself to sense when the trance-like state, when the trances are hitting. Your camera is needing adjusting. What do you mean? What's going on? How's that? Oh yeah, I also fixed my necklace recently. Hee. Is needing adjustment. And yeah, so I just gave her advice and everything. Brightness changing. Oh, that's the sunlight. Our patio doors are right there. You've been to my place, Darkness. Oh yeah, Darkness is the one who bought me this mic, by the way. Huge thank you again, buddy. She's a streamer on Twitch. She had a viewer who was suicidal, and so we would try and cheer them up, right? You keep saying poke, but I don't see you in any of the chats. And essentially, we were cheering up this person. They were going through hell. Their birthday was coming up, so Alex had the bright idea to, hey, let's surprise this person with a happy birthday. I didn't know you could edit Discord messages at the time, because this is when I was just starting out with the app. And so I'm like, hey, one of my friend Alex's viewers is suicidal. Let's cheer him up on their birthday. That was the dumbest thing I could have fucking done, was mention that the person was suicidal. That was private information that did not need to be shared on a social media platform. And this, in a hindsight sense, is fine because I'm explaining what went wrong kind of thing. But in that time and date, it was a bad idea. And where normally be like, oh, okay, he fucked up, no big deal. No, Alex blew up at me and made a public post about how I gave away private information, that I was a creep and everything. As for the creep part, I can explain that too. She was suicidal herself because of the whole empath thing. She was going through a bunch of shit. Her mother was dying, apparently. I don't know if she ever actually recovered. So I tried to be there for her. She was having suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideation, and even was telling me through text she was going to kill herself. So I'm blowing up her phone, like, hey, don't do it, because she wouldn't answer calls. I'm like, hey, you mean a lot to me. You're a good person. You're a great person. You enjoy life. You deserve it, kind of thing. And that was creepy. So this was the first instance of me going on my way to do what I can to help someone and then just get brutally fucking betrayed. She made an entire public statement about it on her Discord. And you may have noticed, she put it in my old Discord too. I fucking deleted this shit. And I talked with my mods about it at the time. And I was devastated. Onto the whole racial political thing. I've gone into it a lot, but I've never actually explained it. I hate BLM. Not the idea. The idea is beautiful. The organization, and I can explain why. The founders, specifically Kohler, are not good people. Kohler purposely profited off of the deaths of black and white people that were protesting. And what did she do with the money? She didn't put it towards helping the black communities or helping any communities or anyone. She put it towards more fucking protests that were costing people their lives. The worst part is, she wasn't even in any of the fucking protests. She then, when she came into money, which she could have used to help the community, used it to buy a building in a rich white neighborhood for bragging rights. Couple this with the fact that every major city in the United States is head of the BLM section in those cities was stealing from the protesters, and you get this entire fucking problem. BLM, yep, Black Lives Matter. Which they do. The organization does not reflect that, but the protesters have my respect. I actually was fired the night the BLM rioters, because these weren't protesters, these were actual out-of-town rioters, came to the Loop and absolutely destroyed it. I also had a kid from Hotep put a gun to the back of my head. And before you ask, no, I didn't do anything to the kid after he did that. I just said, you don't want to do this, you're a kid, I'm sure you're being taught hate, but you can also unlearn it. If you put the gun down, I will forget this happened and we will walk away. Kid dropped the gun and bolted. I wasn't going to fucking kill a kid. I wasn't going to turn the kid either. Just threw the gun away and just walked away. See what I mean? I did the right thing, right? Because he was a kid. What are you going to do? Kids are susceptible to stupid shit. Had he actually pulled the trigger? Yeah, obviously I'd be dead. But he didn't. I'm still here. BLM also inadvertently caused the rise of 3 black supremacist organizations. And yes, black supremacy is a fucking thing. It's not just white supremacy, because for some reason there's this now belief commonly that black people can't be racist, when in reality the term racism refers to all races doing horrific shit. They are Hotep, the Newborn Israelites, and the New Panthers. Hotep is a Africa-based black supremacist organization that is quickly making the rounds in America now. Hotep, similar, and the Newborn Israelites was an organization that actually used to be a decent one, but now specifically hunts Jewish children and white children. With, and I quote, the reasoning of hanging them from the trees like they did to us all those years ago. It's really fucked. Check on babies. They're asleep. Shadow's asleep on the cat scratcher. But yeah, I also despise race washing. I have no problem with representation. I think it's a cool thing when people actually do it right. But race washing is the term referred to when you take an established character and change their race for no other reason but to pander. And in one of the biggest reasons this is a problem is because, and Brittany and I have been talking about this for years, people would rather blackwash Peter Parker than give us a live-action Miles Morales movie. Remember that. Or they'd rather blackwash, brownwash, whatever, Jon Stewart or Hal Jordan than they would give us an actual Jon Stewart Green Lantern movie, who in my opinion is the better written character. Same thing with Miles Morales, much more interesting character. And this is something all races do. It's a horrific trend, but I've been given death threats for speaking out on it because, oh, you just don't like representation. No, I like representation. Miles Morales was a damn good movie. Fucking Legend of Korra, as much as it's shit on by the LGBT, I actually thought was a cute lesbian couple, honestly. Steven Universe and Connie, what was her last name? Maheswaran? Steven Universe's girlfriend.
It's Connie, but I don't remember her last name.
Maheswaran, I think. On-screen celebration 40. Nice. I honestly think one of the Kanye West. Oh.
He's a traitor.
He's an Uncle Tom that actively wanted to put black people in chains. He's a monster. He's as bad as P. Diddy. And Prince fucking groomed his first wife. But Steven Universe and Connie Maheswaran is like one of the cutest interracial couples and a beautiful example of what relationships should be. Redeem make me do 3 posts at 3 deaths in games. I will after I get killed in a game. We are going to stream something today. I'm still waiting for this fucker to actually join the voice chat. Oh, there you are. Hi, Darkness. But yeah, that's my long and short of it, is I just don't like race watching, and I like the idea of BLM, but the organization left a bad taste in my mouth. I actually supported them when they first came about, because I started a branch of it at Merrimack College with Alex, but it was just disappointing to see what they became, kind of thing. But yeah, it's I joined the voice chat. I can't hear him though. New unread. Jesus fucking Christ, Darkness. Hello. Hello. Boy. Make me do 3 push-ups. Oh, we're not dying and chained together. I guarantee you that. I'm actually pretty good at the game. I made it to the city level. But yeah, and just to clarify, no, I have nothing against any race, religion, or creed. I do speak a lot about Christianity, about the hypocrisy that it's used for, but I want to make something very clear. I believe every religion, except for Scientology, it's literally a cult, is important, and that at their core, every single one of them is about world peace. Religions are about how they're used. So I do want to make this very clear that I don't judge the religion itself. I judge how people use the religion. For instance, Hitler claimed to be Christian and used it to commit a genocide. That's not Christianity. Mahatma Gandhi claimed to be Taoist, but it was a horrible fucking person, which did not reflect Taoist views. Hell, even Dr. King was a domestic abuser. A lot of people don't know that. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who to this day is still my biggest hero and the biggest inspiration for my pacifistic and non-violent means of fighting world issues, was unfortunately a known domestic abuser with a rap sheet longer than my fucking forearm. This was revealed by his wife, Loretta Scott King, a few years ago. May she rest in peace. How did she go? Cancer?
Possibly. I know 2 of his other children died.
Yeah, rest in peace. That was the other thing that really pissed me off about BLM. They brought in Al Sharpton, a known black supremacist. They could have brought in Dr. King into Ferguson, which would have fucking put the flames out of conflict. But they actively, purposely brought out someone who would actually make the conflict even worse to cause more chaos. Is there things I know that I really wish I didn't, but it comes with what I do. Yes, MLK was a domestic abuser, unfortunately. I believe one of his kids also spoke out about it, too. John Lewis did not know. That I know for a fact, because he would have said something. John Lewis was a good dude. But yeah, back to the whole health thing. I'm honestly fucking scared, to be honest. And, Kowal I will learn a lot of American history here. Yeah, school purposely whitewashes history. In fact, fun fact about, like, Britt and I were watching this the other day, the founders, the settlers of America, their actual name, I shit you not, was the Separatists. And the discrimination they were escaping was that they weren't allowed to judge people for their religions. And they even spit in the face of the Swedish, who happily took them in, despite them being assholes. Those are the people who founded America. Yay! Stevie, if you don't know, America was founded. It was stolen from the Native Americans and built using the backs of African slaves. So yeah, America's a very fucked up place. This country was never great. I want to make that very clear. I know that. Yeah. Well, at least you know that. Most people don't even know that, weirdly enough. But my views. My views on people as a whole is simply, I judge someone by the content of their character. And founded by four founders, who were all, for a majority of which were slave owners. I judge someone by the content of the character, not their appearance. If you wear a goofy hairstyle, I'm not going to say, oh, you're a stupid person. No, I'm going to say, hey, they're doing what they want. And I don't understand why this is such a foreign concept these days, when it's something that's been preached since the fucking 60s. Franklin Jefferson watching it on the Hetty Mountain. Yeah, that mountain was also put on Native American land as well. They actually relocated, they fucking killed them, Native Americans to create the Mount Rushmore. That's the other thing. It's like, there's now Juneteenth, Black History Month, and all this. There's not really much for the Native Americans. There's not very much for Mexicans or Asians in America. Or hell, Israeli or Palestinian Americans who are going through absolute fucking hell because Biden's a fucking dumbass who funded a genocide. America. Yeah, no shit. I'll be honest, I hate this country, but I love the people, if that makes sense. Like, I hate the people in charge, but I love the civilians that are just trying to put food on the table. I'm not patriotic. Huh?
No matter where you go.
Yeah, that's fair. But this country was never great.
America is you're free, but everyone else is also just as free.
Mm-hmm. When in reality, no one is.
Causes a bit of chaos.
We don't even get to decide who actually becomes president. That's the fucking.
But there's a bit of yes, you do, but no, you don't.
I'm saying the Electoral College is the main factor with the whole president thing. We don't actually matter in that, sadly. Which is why douchebag's gonna fucking win.
That's why they can be bought, but you still have to win the approval because some people will actually listen to the people.
Mm-hmm. And I've been given shit my entire life for speaking on issues with the black communities. I'm just gonna put this out there. I grew up in the black community in St. Louis, Missouri, in an area called Del Mar that's primarily black, around black people, witnessing these issues firsthand. And I'm just gonna point it out to you. The number one thing that's impacting the black community is not police brutality. It's one of them, but no, the number one thing that is impacting the black community is other black people.
That sounds about right.
It's unfortunately conditioned into the conscious that for a black person to succeed is seen as traitorous. If you speak white, apparently speaking proper is now called speaking white, you're seen as a traitor. If you are gay in the black community...
What is speaking right?
Like proper English. It's proper diction, what I'm speaking with right now, surprisingly.
British.
No, just proper. Oh, I get it. Proper. Yes, it's incredibly racist. On top of that, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna put this out there. I've seen more anti-white racism from black people in St. Louis than I've seen white versus black racism. And my sister has too. My wife has too. And I'm sorry, we get more shit from my wife's race for our marriage than we do mine. Interracial marriages should not be shit on. It's the definition of a form of equality. And yet I'm noticing more and more black people are 100% against it. And literally saying, only date your own, which I think is really fucked up. You should support your child dating whoever they want as long as it's healthy and of age. What I've learned from the U.S. is the thing that race is only one way, white to black. It's not true at all.
Some people want to bring it up like that, but most of it is just the fact that
your race does not denote your inability to be racist. Racism is racism no matter who you are. Yeah. And I firmly believe
where
that.
I grew up, there was none of this. None of the problems and all that.
You lucky fuck.
Yes.
It was right outside
I
my
was
door.
lucky. The only stupidness was the redneck. The people that didn't have
Oh, I know this is not
survival
good.
instinct.
Only white can be racist. Nice, Stevie. Yeah. Like, Britt and I have been talking about this for years. It's like... Oh, and as for why I tackle black issues specifically, like I said, these are the communities I grew up with. I have a kinship with these communities. I actually see these issues far clearer than I'm given credit for because I've physically seen them and, at times, been a fellow victim of them. The same police officer that arrested my friend for essentially being black is also the same one that tried to arrest me for having white hair or long hair and a leather coat. I've also seen that apparently white people are not supposed to speak on racial issues, even as an ally, because apparently it's not our place to sit down and shut up, whitey. And I'm just like, how can you call us allies if you won't let us be allies? We want to help. And this is the same people that are like, white people do something. We're trying. If your response to a white person speaking out against racism is, how would you know you're white? The simple response, we may not walk in your shoes, but we see enough from the outside looking in to know that these issues are real and are very serious.
Yeah.
I don't believe your skin color should denote whether or not you should be allowed to help with certain issues. I just don't. I believe everybody equally should be allowed to help each other. How the hell else are we going to survive in this fucking world? You okay? Brittany stretched and knocked her bowl over by accident.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll end that tirade by saying, end that rant by saying just this. I firmly believe, I can a little bit feel like through history, yeah, we were also enslaved. Yep. I'll go into that in a minute. In terms of like helping the issue, I will simply say this. Simply acknowledging someone who feels isolated from the world around them, who feels like they're in that void, could literally save their life. Small gestures of kindness go a much farther way than people think. And I mention this a lot, and I'm going to keep mentioning it because it's true. Getting out of bed in the morning is one of the hardest things a person can do sometimes. To anyone who can do that every day, you have my respect. I can't even do it anymore. I sleep in a lot more than I should these days. And about the slavery thing, Stevie, a little bit of a history lesson. Back when the early Europeans, before they enslaved the Africans, the first people they actually enslaved were the Irish. There were laws passed to legalize it, so the workaround was they went to Africa and kidnapped African slaves. And I say African slaves because a lot of people don't know this. Back then, they didn't just kidnap Africans. African slavery was a currency system in Africa, and to this day, in northern Uganda, is still partially an actual thing. They didn't kidnap doctors or students or anything like the posters are always saying. No, they kidnapped people that were already treated like tools. And the irony is that the people that generalize white people for slavery, it always bothered me. It's like, you do realize, and this, I hate saying this sentence, they were not seen as human beings. They were seen as tools, expensive tools. And the only people who could afford it are the only people who have ever actually gotten anything in this country, the 1%. Slaves were expensive as hell in the United States. Again, I hate talking about this because I don't like referring to people as tools.
In it, which is why it didn't last.
Yeah, Canada's not a neutral fucking country. I don't know why people think that. But, yeah, so basically, African slaves...
I've seen about Canada where they cause more war crimes than anybody else.
Not as bad as Australia, who went to war with emus. That shit still cracks me up.
You can only do it once before it becomes a war crime thing, what they say.
Yeah. So basically...
That's why they say sorry all the time.
So basically, African slaves being brought to America was literally the British's way as a workaround for not being able to enslave the Irish anymore. And yet, Irish slavery is never discussed. It's never even talked about in public school. It's not even mentioned that it was a real thing.
I told you about Africa did have bad history with the Italians, with the Romans. It goes back to, say, the Punic War, for example.
Uganda is also the human trafficking center of the world, last time I checked.
And you know what's sad? Uganda's actually very high when it comes to domestic abuse. There was an athlete who was unfortunately killed by her crazy ex.
It goes much... I don't even know if I should bring this up, because this goes really deep about the whole domestic abuse and everything. The black community, there is a reason why absentee parents and domestic abuse are at a higher percentage in the black communities as opposed to most other communities. Britt and I were reading about it in this, Brainwashed. There are psychological patterns that trace back to slavery itself. And that makes sense. It happened for 400 goddamn years. That's going to be hard to wipe from the genetic genome, you know what I mean, psychologically. Slave males were forced to procreate to fill the fields. Slave women were raped to do the same.
Slave women were forced to procreate, and here's the messed up part. Biracial slaves, they were worth more, and they were seen as an abomination from both races.
She's the one who taught me the M word. M was actually a slur. I didn't know that.
Mulatto.
I'm not saying it.
Yeah, it's a racial slur towards biracials.
And the whole absentee parent thing and everything, that traces back to when slave men and slave women were actually either forced to separate for their children or psychologically felt disconnected to them because of the means by which they were conceived. And this actually explains a lot of like stereotypical behavior and everything that happens. Hell, the whole black people turning on each other for not listening to the same music or not having the same shoes or not talking the right way traces back to it as well, because slaves were put against each other.
It was forbidden to teach slaves how to read and write. And those, this was in Kendra, by the way, because her ancestor, Alice, called her descendant the white N-word.
Speaking of the whole white thing, BLM also had a secondary stance. You mean Baltimore accent? You mean Baltimore accent? Woof. God damn. BLM had another phrase they would say when they came out, and this is what caused me to hate the organization. Being white is not alright. Something along those lines. And I'm just like, so your idea, your basic concept to end slavery is not to end slavery and bring equality, or not slavery, end racism and bring equality. You want to reverse it, right? That's not equality. That's supremacy. That's exactly what Hotep, Newborn Israelites, and the New Panthers, which I didn't explain. New Panthers are the remaining members from the original Black Panther Party that didn't learn from Huey Newman's example. Huey Newman started off as a black supremacist who later in life learned that equality was the way instead. And some of his followers, unfortunately, did not follow that path. The survivors are what created this new movement called the New Panthers. And they're monstrous. These are the kind of things I know that I get death threats for. And from what Brittany has told me, even when other black people talk about it, they're called Uncle Toms and Aunt Sally's. When they talk about race washing, when they talk about black people being racist towards each other. It's just this whole conundrum that doesn't need to be an issue that is. Everybody thinks that you have to be a certain color to talk about certain issues, when in reality, everything is universal.
Now, I will agree that, obviously, case in point with the it makes sense for the politician who's Palestinian. She spoke out. She was the one stuff against Congress because she didn't appreciate the fact that they're basically allowing her people to to be slaughtered.
Yeah. No, that's the other thing. I'm not supporting Biden because he literally openly supported sending bombs to commit a genocide in Palestine, and I'm not supporting Trump because he's a piece of shit. I don't support politicians in general, but I specifically don't support those two. There are 8 political parties in this damn country, but we're always forced to choose between 2 options, and it's simply just because it's easier to divide the populace if there's 2 options as opposed to 8.
Just so you know about the Green Party, they need to better organize. I know some dysfunction.
Only 8?
Don't follow the Tea Party. They're just batshit crazy.
Oh, and I have noticed a lot of people, because the fact that the Nazis are now out in the open again. Can we please stop generalizing fucking Germany? Especially the fact that Hitler was not German. He was Austrian. He attacked his own people. So I don't get... It's similar to like the whole Russian and Putin thing. I've seen people generalizing the populace of Russia who don't even like Putin, by the way. I just don't fucking like that shit. Oh, bro, has a pull. Exactly. That's the main thing I always talk about. I cannot agree to this. What do you mean? As a pull, I cannot agree to this. To each their own. I don't agree with generalization of any kind. Unless they're like known hate groups like the Nazis or the KKK, right? I don't agree with judging an entire group of people for the actions or a few of many. So like, say someone is racist towards black people because they got jumped by a bunch of black dudes back in school, right? It's not justified. The entire race was not responsible for that small group of people who attacked you. You know what I mean? Germans, Prussians, also. I gotcha. I just, and this is something that our friends have unfortunately actively defended, is the idea of generalization. And I'm like, but by definition, when you generalize, you're incriminating people who are not a part of the situation, and therefore demonizing innocence in the process. I just don't agree with that. But yeah, there you go. That's my stances. Now that you've actually heard me out, told you, I'm not a racist. I'm just fed up with hypocrisies. Also, Germans made the hell. And also Germans made the hell. Not the entire nation as a whole, though.
Oh, he's saying the Germans that followed the crazy orders, the commanders, the generals.
Oh, yeah, no, that is true, but that wasn't every single citizen in Germany is what I'm saying. You can hate the Nazis.
He's talking about he hates the commanders, the leaders.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the actual, like the entire populace, like the civilians and everything that had done. Okay, no, yeah, you're right.
Get
My
this,
bad.
the civilians who helped the Jewish, they unfortunately got killed also.
Hell, I found this out the other day. Britt and I both found this out the other day. Apparently, during the slavery era of America, there were white people teaching black people to read and write, and there were actually white allies back then that were also killed alongside the people they were helping.
A guy lynched his own sister because she showed compassion to a black man, treat him as a person.
Yeah. There were a lot of whole Polish people. Yes, there was. Yes.
Yeah, the Polish were also bullied by the Nazis.
A hell fucking lot of them is what I think he's saying. But yeah, my bad, Stevie. I thought you were saying the entire populace of Germany was bad. I'm like, no, just I agree with you though. The Nazi officers and everything. Yeah, fuck them. There's this really famous psychological debate that I've always thought was interesting. If you were able to travel back in time and you saw a baby Hitler, at this point in history is just a baby, an innocent child, right? Knowing what they would go on to do in the future, would you kill that child? And it's fascinating because you're like, okay, they're going to do horrible things. At this point, they're an innocent, infant. What would you do? I don't know. I don't want to kill a baby. I also don't want Hitler to be a thing. You know what I mean? That's what makes it such an interesting thing, because you have a lot to factor in. I've heard that German saying Jews, it's a psychological thing. If you will kill baby H, you still kill baby. Yeah. Yeah. I've heard about German who are saving Jews. Okay, maybe Oskar Schindler. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. It's like, I also found out there were apparently some of the soldiers that were in his cause against their will. Like, he had their families at gunpoint. And I'm like, that doesn't justify what they did.
That was one of the biggest reasons why they couldn't go against him. It was the whole... He put the whole entire country down on lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't follow orders...
Remember,
problems would happen.
Yeah. The entire world had to unite to fight to stop Hitler.
Yeah. It was dangerous. And Trump's trying to be Hitler 2.0.
It was the generals, the commanders, and all that used these foot soldiers that were put there at gunpoint.
Oh fuck, Stevie, did I say something wrong? Are you angry or are you pleasantly surprised that I knew that? Sorry, go ahead, Darkness.
He's just surprised.
I don't just study my own country's history because I'm not just trying to help my own country. I'm trying to help the world. I do plan on visiting the Middle East to help as well.
When I was taught history, we were taught the UN version of it.
Ooh, yeah.
Not the USA.
No, UN.
And so we got the third-party background look.
It's still better than public school, surprisingly. If you're wondering what I'm looking at, by the way, Shadow's rolling around.
But it's just that we were... The funny thing was, in my town,
hold on, Dark.
We had a placard of people who was on the board of the education.
Yeah.
And one of the people shared my last name.
Damn. Stevie said...
I don't know if they were family. I just know I saw it.
Fair. Also, Stevie, that's so fucking true. I just thought America was a bunch of dumbass people without any expectations. I mean, that is true about a lot of Americans, but it's not true of all, thankfully. I mean, for instance, again, there's fucking... Oh, God. I don't understand how people can support that idiot. He literally told his supporters to kill themselves by drinking bleach.
It's... when people get ideals and religious...
Nah, that's a perfect segue.
On someone, if they think it's good for them or whatever,
what is he doing?
That's where you have to
He's
find.
Leaving.
That's the extreme, and then you find people that don't give a fuck about anybody, and those are the thugs, brutes, and all that.
Yeah.
But that's like, I'm gonna guess, a third each.
Yeah.
And then there's just a third of general.
What is he doing? That's... Jonestown Massacre. Oh, that's a dark one. No, there's a guy who's running for office in America named Donald Trump who is a horrible fucking person. I'm not going into it on stream, because unfortunately I know a couple people that are supporters. And I have every reason to literally want him to die. And he's essentially trying to be Hitler 2.0. He's even friends with Kim Jong-un, who is the dictator of North Korea. Oh, I know about Donald Trump. I bet you do. He fucked over your country, too.
Technically, I think the entire world knows about the Orange Man.
Yeah. Regardless of your political opinions, there's no reason to support someone that wants to destroy the world.
There's a lot of problems, but compared to Biden...
Oh yeah, we're fucked either way, don't get me wrong.
Well, it's changed now, so I don't know who this new person is. But,
yeah, Kamala.
But whoever the fuck.
Yeah,
but
I'm voting any of the other parties.
I'm going to end your tirade, mister.
Yeah. I was going to transfer over to something positive. What game do you want to stream, by the way? Because we'll put it in the... I guess we can combine the two streams, I don't mind.
Not right now. After I wake up.
Yeah.
Because you know I sleep during the day.
Oh, he does an all-nighter job, by the way. That's it. For anyone who's wondering.
Yes.
Yes, darkness is fine.
Home.
Yes.
Literally.
I do want to clarify. No, darkness is not in danger. I got a message on my Instagram like, what the fuck happened to darkness? He hasn't been in the streams in a long time. Is he okay? Yes, he's fine. The man is a father with a full-time job. Let the man cook.
I literally sleep during most of your stream.
It's funny you mentioned that, Stevie. I am going to start a podcast with Lead the Pwn in gaming soon. We're going to call it, because I'm pagan, so it's like a satirical joke, a demon, me, a brony, and a Brit walk into a bar. That's what we're going to call it. I've been told Brit is not a swear.
With shadows lurking.
With shadows lurking. Darkness, if you want to join the podcast, I'd be fine with that.
I won't be constant.
Fair. We can do like different days kind of thing. And Stevie, I'm gonna point this out. The only reason I know any of this is not due to the public education system. I'm studying everything because I want to help the world. I don't want to just help America. I want to help the world. If I've never elaborated on it, Humans United, my suicide prevention efforts, is the first step to what I'm wanting to do. I want to tackle political, racial, and world issues using Dr. King's ideology of judging someone by the content of their character, not the color of their skin, not their religion, not their sexual orientation, not their appearance. And through all of this, I want to put the stepping stones in place that could eventually lead to world peace for future generations. I want to give future generations the world we always wanted. In terms of equality. You know what I mean? A priest, a PDF, and a...
Thief. Welcome to a bar, but it is only the first.
Oh god, that's not a good thing to follow up a substantial, wholesome thing with. But yeah, and I have put years of my life at risk because of the years and hours, or the hours I've been spending obsessively going over different countries' histories to make sure I do not come off as an ignorant American when I travel this damn world, if I can get out of this fucking apartment. But yeah, that's why. It's just, I actually take the time to read. I stupidly told my buddy Nick that's because I watch documentaries, but that was a really stupid reason. I don't know why I thought he wouldn't believe that I just read a lot. But yeah,
because this world is going into TikTok.
I do read about Polish history.
Videos.
Not as much as I should, though, admittedly. You will be brain fucked. Yeah, I've heard. In fact, fun fact, did you guys know that Korea, not fun fact, but did you know that Korea has the longest unchained era of human slavery? 800 years. And that directly led to the Kim Jong-un family line taking control in Korea.
Just so you know, one of the people I follow, she goes under by the Korean vegan. Her grandparents had to flee.
Yeah.
They obviously saw the rise of dictatorship, and they didn't want to be they didn't want to be a part of that.
Yeah. By the way, if you're wondering what I'm looking at Brit the Boys is also my frame rate or my dropped frames thing. It's still at 6,000 kilobytes per second, so it's not bad.
But yeah, and they almost mercy killed her mother because she didn't eat for 2 weeks. Her mother was an infant at the time because they had to walk straight. They barely rest.
Mm-hmm. And just to kind of wrap this up, this portion of it, because like I said, Darkness and I are gonna talk about some stuff, but I need to play some shit. Highly recommend.
You can play some shit, but we can't play Satisfactory for another 3 days.
We can play Chain together today, right?
Yes, we'll play Chain together, but we won't be able to do Satisfactory until the 10th when the update comes out.
And yeah, Stevie, I do apologize if I stepped on toes in any way with what I said. I apologize. I'm being as transparent as I can be that I can remember, so I apologize. Oh, I got Chain together. Dude, you should join us. It's 3-player.
It's 4-player.
It's 4-player.
Okay.
Would you be okay with that, Darkness, or would you prefer it be us two since we were practicing?
No. I can do it.
Okay.
It's just that with the fact that there's also his last line just makes me worried.
Oh God.
I'll be like, because from my experience, it'll be traumatic for me.
And but yeah, I hope now that I've been more open about my beliefs and everything. Oh, I'm pagan, by the way. Not that really matters, but yes, I am a Wiccan, and I'm also an empath, which is just a very paranormal way of saying that I can read I can understand people's emotions. I'm a bit higher than most because I take the time to do so. Yes, I'm a witch. And fun fact about witches, we never were satanic. a little bit of history about that. The thing you know as Baphomet, the demon, is actually this demonization of our god, Pan, who's the satyr god of music from Greek mythology. And our symbol was never demonic. Our symbol, literally, the pentacle, the 5-pointed star, refers to the 5 elements of the earth. They are earth, water, fire, air, and spirit. Essentially, we see humans as an element of the earth. We also see the earth as a living thing, which is actually true because plants are alive. And basically our own... stay steak and love. Respect, Steve. I appreciate it. Our only belief is that we believe everyone on this planet deserves a chance at life. Without terrorists and shit, obviously. And we basically just don't judge people for other religions. And our whole thing is just peace, love, and that's it. We're literally the hippie religion. Which, that term gets used derogatorily, but hippies aren't bad people. Actual hippies that are like, hey, I'm all about peace. They're good people. Just not the ones from Woodstock who are horrible people pretending to be nice people. Earth, water, air, fire, love. Through those you created me, Captain Planet. And essentially, that's all it is. There's no, like, Charmed or Harry Potter. We use herbs, we use spices and stuff to make medicine. We actually created medicine, like my religion. We created the first forms of medicine in the forms of healing herbs as well as remedies, what you would now know as medicine. And this started so long ago that one of my people was taken, renamed to Doctor, and then it was renamed to medicine. That's literally how it came to be. And what was our grand kind of thing as a result? We were stoned to death, we were burned to death, and we were nearly killed to extinction. There you go. There's Wiccan history. Do I hate the Christians? Hell no. Because no one today was responsible for what happened back then. Also, what started the Salem witch trials was a spiteful little girl accusing a woman of being a witch because she wouldn't play with her. And it only stopped when the mayor of Salem's wife was accused. Just a little bit of history. And again...
And just so you know, those are redeemed
respect
as...
all religions, people. Please.
The women that were deemed as... the women who were doctors, they were deemed as performing witchcraft.
Mm-hmm. And I do want to specify real quick, what made me respect religions as a whole is when I was very young, my parents took me to churches, they took me to mosques, they took me to synagogues, I studied the Torah, I studied the Bible, I studied the Quran, I studied all these different religions and texts because my parents wanted me to understand the importance of coexistence. So that's why I preach it, is that I just want people to understand that religions are completely fine. As long as they're used for good and not fucking manipulation, or in Brittany's case, abuse. She came from an abusive religious household. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say on that. But yeah, go ahead, Darkness. That's why as an atheist I'm a ULC priest. Fair.
So what I was going to say was...
So I'm not a bad person, I'm just
the
fucking...
The reason why I haven't been around is mainly because, yes, I do sleep. Your hours are terrible for me to try to catch train.
Thanks, Reggie.
You
I was also
did
thinking
an
about
early ass
the
stream today
concerts.
where I could be notified and get on.
I kind of figured this would be the only time to do so for you to be able to join. I'm sorry.
It's either now or we're in about 9 o'clock in 2 minutes.
I'm probably still going to have to
join. 6-ish hours when I wake up again.
Fair.
But I haven't been sleeping well. I've been sick for the past few days. Nothing major, just sinus problems, basically.
Allie the baby, he comforted me this morning. He saw me crying.
I haven't been here because I've been tired, been working, trying to be...
But yeah, he just came up, nuzzled me and laid on my lap.
And my mother got sick, and it's not that I haven't been there for Fable. It's because I haven't been able to jump on when he's trying to show everyone.
Mm-hmm. Darkness is family, as far as I'm concerned. If something was to happen to him, Britt and I would take Amelia under our wing, and he knows that. He also knows that if he needs us, we're here, no matter what it is. Darkness has been a better friend to me than most people I've known my entire lives.
I mean, recently,
Yeah, hell,
I wanted to talk to you about this
Mm-hmm.
and get your idea about it. I had someone that I talked to here convince me otherwise, but I want to hear your point of view.
Mm-hmm.
This, I can't, I'll skip details because we're live.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very close point to what you've been going through.
Gotcha.
My ex-girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
at, we dated back in high school. In high school, I had a best friend that was basically helicoptered. He had no communication except for stealing a phone to communicate through Messenger.
Understood.
I had no way of contacting him when I finally broke up and decided to move school.
Mm.
When I finally managed to get back in touch with said ex-girlfriend, and she eventually convinced me to be with her again, she eventually got me to meet my friend again.
Gotcha.
But she had the contact information he now had available because he has his own kid and is married.
Congrats. Bye.
After finding his lover who had to leave for whatever reason.
Kitty,
She
claws.
moved and he managed to get her
Careful.
back.
Okay. Give me.
But I never got that contact information. But
Okay.
then, making sure my mother's not in chat.
I don't see her on the list. You're fine.
A certain type of problem arose with this girlfriend.
Gotcha.
Where she ghosted me or really dodged me for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Till I got a text from an elder sister of mine who knew her on Facebook about a picture of an ultrasound.
Oh no.
And when that was brought up, I was ghosted at.
Fuck.
And so I checked because you can on those pictures you can check the age inside and the date, and so I gauged it, and it seemed about right for the last time.
So
I got to see her.
You have an illegitimate child.
Maybe. But not been contacted for any support.
Yeah.
It's been years now. And she had this, and her story to convince me to get back with her is why I have this theory that things might be a problem. She was working, and she managed to work alongside my elder sister. They started talking about olden days, and it was mentioned about my child. And now I was told when I met up with my ex that she had several miscarriages. And that it caused a divide between her and her ex-boyfriend.
Gotcha.
And it was becoming toxic and all that.
Yeah. It's what killed Prince's first marriage.
Fast forward till the time we leave, she's been still friends with the same guy. Because it wasn't one person in this relationship, it was a polycule.
Oh, fuck.
So, but it
why
was
polyamorous
basically a
relationships are
harem because it was one guy, multiple girls.
That's why poly relationships are a mixed bag and need to be approached appropriately, because that's
True,
dangerous.
but I didn't know until after we started.
Gotcha. Give me 1 second. I really have to be. Sorry.
Fair.
I know a few people who are in poly relationships. At least they talked with their partner before making that leap.
Yeah, they got it to work. Okay.
But like I said, I have mixed feelings about open poly relationships. Just couldn't do it.
Me too. I I don't like the idea of trying to spread myself thin. And so, while polycules might work for some people, it just seems crazy to try to expect the same love and affection from multiple different people when I can't even find one good one.
Yeah, I hear ya. It's basically because I know a friend. We don't really speak anymore. He's the one who left the states for Finland. For a woman he barely dated for a year. But long story short, the previous person he was with before her, who was he originally engaged to, he agreed to be in an open poly relationships just to stay, just to because he desperately wanted her back, considering that she cheated on him 3 times.
Oh, your friend. Gotcha.
And yeah, obviously it didn't. It actually just only made things worse.
Yep. Yeah,
Illegitimacy in
because once
America.
you say it's an open, that means people can come and go as they please.
Exactly. I hope. I really do hope, by the way, that me being transparent kind of cleared the muddy waters a bit about me as a person.
I think it did, but
yeah.
Continuing is
Yep.
we so I learned she was, and she would initially be the person I was looking for. Gamer, beside me, wanting me, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Affectionate. The stuff I was looking for.
Yeah.
Eventually, after a point, she started. It was around 9-ish months we were together, I think it was.
9?
9 months
9
we were
months,
together.
okay.
That she finally started to do this. I'm too busy, or I'm elsewhere, and you can't come pick me up or whatever.
Yeah.
And it slowly became a problem. Till she finally just disappeared. But she wasn't lying to me in the sense that she wouldn't tell me where she was. She told me where she was.
Yeah.
And if she was busy and all that. And because she was worried because she lived out in the ghettos and I had to travel through, or she lived out in the countryside.
Yeah.
I live in a medium town, but I had to go through the ghettos to get home. She wanted to know when I got home, so she requested I put on open tracker thing you can get. It was a normal thing of I know you're a good driver, but I'm worried about everyone else around you because how many wrecks have been on this path? And I went, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Well,
tracker.
Eventually, she when she started ghosting me and I learned of all this, I was angry. Anyone would be.
Understandable, yeah.
But eventually I started thinking about it. I couldn't get in contact, so I was just thinking. Because when you're in love, it's on your head and all that. So I was just thinking. What?
It's a lot.
Yes, child. I'll fix it in a bit, okay?
Hi, baby girl.
She's having a problem with her Netflix. I'll fix it in a bit.
Oh.
But I started thinking, and I put some pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
They were in a polycule, so there's multiple people. They were trying to these two were trying to have a child.
Yeah.
And they were succeeding, but having miscarriage.
Yeah. I wouldn't call that succeeding, but yeah. I get what you mean. They conceived it, but yeah.
So
damn shit.
I guess maybe at some point when she heard of me and mine, she came up with the idea of sperm donor in a sense.
Oh.
But instead of talking to me about it, she seduced me into doing it.
That's technically rape.
Not. It was consent.
Okay, consenting. Well, taking advantage of at least then. That's.
It definitely was, because I still had a ember in my heart for her, and
yeah, she took advantage of that.
Yeah.
What are you wanting to ask me then, with all this in mind?
She has contact with my old friend more than I did. Should I try to reach out to him alone, not for her to get in contact with her, but just to talk to him, when I know they could have been talking, and she could have tried to spin it any way she wanted.
That's what I'm thinking, like, because if she used you, then yeah, she's already shown capability of manipulation.
Yeah.
I honestly believe. Are you close to your friend? Like, are you significantly close to them, or is this just someone you used to talk to years ago, like you said, and you just haven't spoken to them since?
It's not 2 years ago. It's been about this point 7 years.
I wouldn't risk it then.
But back when we were in school, one of the few memories I have with him was we were in class and he would make these, D&D, like paper, dice, and all that.
Yeah.
He would make games that wouldn't require dice. We would just use paper. We would get points, actions, whatever. We would just come up with ideas.
I'm stretching.
And that's the main thing we did. And
I gotcha.
Back then, I had another friend, but that friend had his mother became so bad for mine that I lost connection with him, and I stopped trying to reach him.
Gotcha.
So
it's a really tough situation, honestly.
Yeah.
Because at one point you want to contact your old friend, but there's always that risk that she'll destroy it.
But I talked to someone here that I talked to, who, I will be frank with you, I have told him about your general problems that I've known till today.
Solaria, you mean?
I'm talking about he's someone I work with, and we had some free time one day, and I talked to him about the reason why we swapped servers in Discord.
Yeah.
We talked about that, and he too agrees with you.
It's nice to hear for once, honestly.
But he, when I told him of my problem, he looked at me as if I was insane and told me, why would you even try?
Because the ember's still there.
And
part of you secretly wants her to reach out to you.
No, not her.
Not her, just the friend.
I want to talk to the friend again, because last time I talked to him, when he, because I did meet him while I was with her, we came to an agreement, the three of us,
Mm-hmm.
that no matter where we were, we would try to meet up again every 5 years.
It's been 7.
No, it hasn't. That was 7 since I was in school with him.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, I mixed up the dates. Sorry. It's a lot of information to process.
Yeah. But he found the love of his life, and he said, I found mine. And
I keep forgetting you are actually... That's right, okay.
and so I kind of, when I saw his information pop up on my Facebook, I stopped and thought about it.
Fair.
Because it's not like...
I'd imagine it's similar to like taking a spoonful of Worcestershire sauce, where you don't just consume it. No, it literally stops you in your tracks and forces you to think.
Yeah. And I don't think of it often right now. But
No, I've never done that.
out here, I haven't really found a true friend yet, even though I work. I have someone that I work with that I can talk to,
Mm-hmm.
but because his problems while at work. Not like with me, but morale problem. I don't like working beside him
Yeah.
because he drains my morale. And
This is the same guy that made that stupid mistake we discussed a few months ago.
I don't remember.
A certain machine problem. There we go. That shouldn't be saying too much. The reason I'm not saying specifically is he could get in trouble if I say what it is. Understandably, the job is very strict.
Not necessarily the machine itself. No.
Okay.
If you said the machine, I possibly would know more.
The glove incident.
Yes.
Figured.
And he's also the same guy I talked to about the our problem, and he confirmed. He understood. He also said that it hates for me to say this because I kind of can't do anything about it because of him, but he said that if he was in your position,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm actually going to keep that part to myself. He said he would not have a fun time in your position.
I contemplated suicide over it at one point, not gonna lie. And like I said, I'm as dramatic as it sounds, I'm broken. I'm struggling to put the pieces of myself back together and just basically return to being the empathic person you guys know me as.
And technically,
empathetic.
you still are there, and you're not as broken as you on the outside or outwardly as you think you show.
It's mainly depression, to be completely honest.
Then again, I'm pretty sure depression and anxiety are supposed to be there.
Yeah, well, depression is actually, I call it in a weird way the positives of depression, if it's not too severe, obviously. It brings out the deep thinker in you, and you realize a lot of things when you're in that state of deep thought. And it helps me process a lot.
For me, depression just means I'm not giddy, I'm not excitement like a child where I can laugh at anything and everything. and anxiety is I worry about a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Which again, part of that, you are a dad. You're a damn good father, by the way.
I'm a worker. I father. I try to make sure the bills are paid, stuff like that. But people associate those with all these bad deals, and I'm going like, that might be a problem, but then you're just trying to ask for not meth to make it go away.
Yeah.
Go to a doctor.
Well, that's why the energy drinks, what got me into drinking Monsters, because I've never actually talked about this before. My dyskinesia is acting, you can tell because the corner of my mouth is going like this. What got me drinking energy drinks is that it became my way of fighting off the depression of all things. My medication stopped working months ago, so I just stopped taking them. I have to lie to my doctor about it because he doesn't fucking listen to me. And even my caseworker is like, no, you're fine, I understand. If it doesn't help and you're finding something that does, and do so. That's why I've been exercising a lot more, which is helping, but
here's my suggestion.
It's going to be an ongoing battle for the rest of my life. I've been through so much to the point that I'm starting to realize that it's going to keep nipping at the back of my mind. That's what trauma does, but it doesn't have to be a dominating force, is what I can change.
Yeah. And here's my suggestion for the problem with your monster.
I'm just drinking water now.
No. No.
Damn, that hurt.
That's terrible. Do what I did. And
reduce the intake?
Sir, I'm drinking tea. While at work, I drink Mountain Dew because at work, that's the only drink that I want at that. But I'll swap if it goes out because someone didn't change the bag. I'll go to root beer. I'll go to Pepsi. But I am currently drinking fruity tea because that's my flavor I like. My drinks, fruity.
I hate tea.
And that's fair.
I'm the only person I know that does too. It surprised the hell out of me.
Technically, with the flavor I drink, it's not tea anymore. It's fruit juice.
Oh, you're drinking the lemon ice stuff, aren't you?
No.
Oh, okay. That stuff's good, actually.
Arizona Macho Mango.
That's awesome. That's gotta be a Macho Man Randy Savage reference.
Maybe. But still, it's... Find yourself... Like, the cans for these... the same size cans you drink of Monster, for those, for my teas, 99 cents.
Damn.
And the owner has been on an interview and said he does not want to change it.
Respect. That's what Arizona Iced Tea should have done from the get-go, honestly. They used to be able to get those big-ass cans for $1. I know, because my thing was beef jerky when I was a kid. Jack Link's beef jerky. Teriyaki. My brother, Patrick, his was Arizona Iced Tea. The big green cans.
Yeah. And out here, back in Arkansas, I couldn't find...
Fuck, I was drinking Monsters back then, too.
But out where I am now, I got Macho Mango, I got Fruit Punch, I got Watermelon.
Mm-hmm. Macho Madness. Oh, yeah, it's Macho Madness.
It's different flavors.
Maybe I should have the gay video.
If you like lemonade...
No. It's just like a straight lemonade.
If you like lemonade, start trying to drink up some lemonade. Stop picking up the Monsters, if that's going to help you. But I don't, like I said, my depression does make me think. But you know what I do with my thinking time? Mr. I have a wife and over there.
Who's preoccupied at the moment.
I will think of scenarios using my favorite anime, favorite book, favorite show, whatever, at the moment, or the one I have the most thoughts on, most knowledge on, and I'll choose...
Did I stab you?
No, that just looks like
how would I self-insert myself? I'll create my own fan fiction in my head and live it for a moment. for time.
I'm
not saying you have to find a different form, but I don't dwell on what I worry about until it comes time to worry about it.
Yeah.
When someone mentions money, I'll check my bank account. When someone mentions dirtiness, I'll look around and check my table and my space and clean it up.
Spotless. Surprisingly, the apartment is spotless.
But I don't. Yeah. I'll fix it in a second. I'll get up.
She's so cute.
Talking to him.
Hi, baby girl.
Know what?
Oh, and to continue our conversation from earlier about the Godfather thing, Darkness has been. I don't remember if you accepted it, but if something happens to me and Britt, then he's officially the guardians of Jet and Shadow.
I will do my best to get him. What is it now? 4,000 miles?
Yeah.
I'll have to find him. I'll have to get another place to live because the current cat would kill him. I have. Not because it's a threat.
Oh.
But because our cat is a territorial cat.
Nick's cat.
Does not like others in its house and has actually gotten himself injured. And now he's an inside kitty.
Fair. Nick's cat died, by the way. Kuro. Moses.
Oh.
Yeah. She was basically, there was water in her lungs, so either her heart gave out or she had cancer. But she was an older kitty, so she did have a long life. She had a nice. She died peacefully, thankfully. He was there with her. Unlike Suki, who died while I was at a wedding. Oh, two things I'm gonna bring up. One, about when it comes to what's going on with Suki, even though it's almost been a year, it'll be a year in November. I'll be honest, it's still on my mind a lot. I raised her for 13 fucking years after all. But I'm also learning to focus more on spending time with the boys here, Jet and Shadow, who are... Shadow, close your legs!
His legs are closed.
No, they're not! He's going like this. I paint me like one of your French cats.
Don, I don't see it. That's just his foot.
I don't believe him. I don't believe you.
I don't believe you.
And
there are holidays coming up, by the way.
The other thing is that I've never talked about why my teeth are as bad as they are. Believe it or not, it's not just from me not brushing my teeth because it hurts to do so. Back in college, as a stupid idea to escape the drama with my family, my buddy Jared at the time peer pressured me into smoking cigarettes, which I was into for about 3 months. And I quit all by myself, which is surprising because, as you know now, I have an addictive personality. It caused irreparable damage to my already damaged teeth. And I have been looking around for dentists, but none of the dentists take my insurance. And the ones that do only do for people in their early 20s. I'm 28 years old, and apparently that's a death sentence for people needing dental care. Who have Medicaid, specifically. So I'm on the lookout for that. Darkness, Jacob, whatever you want to be called, he came to my place about 9 months ago, I want to say, because it was Trixie's death. So last year around this time. He came by because he was on his way to move to the new state he's in now. And he visited us, me and Brett. And he got me this mic, and he got me the cloth that you guys see me wiping my laptop with, this microfiber cloth, which is still serving me well, by the way. Go ahead and wipe the screen. There's cat fur on it.
Well, yeah, I have a bag of them, and I barely go through. I haven't even thrown a single one of them away.
he bought a pack of them and is like, here, you can have one. He's like, you really only need one. I'm like, says the man buying a pack of them. Also had the nastiest fucking energy drink that had Naruto on the can. That shit was gross.
My Dragon Ball one was a bit better.
Yeah, he had like a blue raspberry one that was pretty good. I had a creamsicle one, which is usually like really good ice cream in a beverage.
But it was an energy drink.
Which means it had taurine in it. And that was also the day that Trixie died. Brittany got a text message, and originally my parents weren't even going to let us say goodbye. They were just going to rush out to Illinois to bury her. Thankfully we got to and everything. But yeah, it was a very nice visit. Just wanted to bring that up because it was a really nice, really fun day. And that was when I finally got to show him to Britt's job and everything. And yeah, he saw it's pretty fucking bad, actually. The transparency as to why I don't talk about her job on stream. I have family members that work at her job that watch my stream, and they're friends with managers of theirs at their job. So while I trust my relative, I don't trust the managers to not be dicks to Britt about it. So any criticisms Britt has about her job, I cannot use the job's real name. And in fact, I did on stream once, but I ended up taking down that stream to edit out the clip. It was one of my Power World streams years ago.
Power World streams years ago? Excuse me?
It's been out for a year. Can you believe it?
You said years.
Yeah.
Sir. Plural.
It was a year ago. But yeah, the whole point of this was to... first of all, I'd like to thank Hatred, who recommended I even do this in the first place, was make this video, the stream, whatever you want to call it.
A vent train, that makes sense.
Yeah. Just to kind of, I don't know, quote, for the cheesiest way of phrasing it, to be real with you guys and be open about everything that's been going on, everything that I've been feeling it lately. And yeah, that betrayal, that hit me fucking hard. I'm still gonna help people. I'm still gonna be me, but that hurt. That was a whole new kind of pain. And I am still conflicted about the decision I made with Thomas. The Discord thing, obviously, it wasn't needed, but
in which way? Let me clear this up real quick. In which way? Are you talking about cutting him off?
People are saying that he was completely in his right to do so, and that I shouldn't have cut him off. My own parents defended him. Even though he told me to cut them off, which is hilarious.
He is in his right to do what he wants. But so are you. Cutting him off is you saying, I understand. I know you are doing what you feel you should be able to do.
Oh, thanks,
not
Naka.
like it. So leave me out. That's all you said.
Yeah.
Or all it should have been interpreted as. Not you'll just leave him out to dry.
Mm-mm.
No.
He was abusive.
His own man. You are your own man.
I don't know, I just wanted to... I guess I just wanted to bury the hatchet on a more positive note kind of thing. But it ended the way it ended.
Positive mode?
Mm-hmm.
A positive note.
Fair
You know what a
point.
positive note is?
Well, it has a plus sign on it, I would assume.
A positive note for any ending thing that would any problem would it be it not to happen in the first place.
Fair. Yeah. I will say this, because this one thing I haven't gone over. I feel alone as hell now. Whenever I go on my PlayStation and whenever I go on the Discord, like, yes, I have darkness. I have friends, don't get me wrong. As far as people I can actively game with every day and talk to every day, Thomas was the only person I would talk to like that. And...
Yeah, well...
Yeah, and you.
When
you're
everyone
not
else
sleeping.
gets quite busy and people can be doing stuff, and that's always going to be a problem of you might be wanting to talk to someone. Well, there's just no one left to talk to for the day because everyone's out working a random shift they had to do or something.
Yeah. I hope you're okay.
That's
I'm
not, and
trying to
that
be.
part, I will say, is life.
Yeah,
That's why I normally stick to my single player game.
that's fair.
When I am online, I play, like right now, Power Wash Simulator, Monster Hunter Stories 2. I've been playing Armored Core 6.
Ooh, that does look good. Patrick and I
Dying
used to play the
Light,
originals on PS2.
Escape Academy. I've been playing those.
Chained together.
I have practiced in it, but
I'm in the city already.
And I am too. I'm actually above it, but
GG.
I am too. And I've been waiting for the day when it became September, when we would play together.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the chance to sit down, talk to you, and plan it. Because I knew it was going to be in September. I knew Satisfactory was the next thing. But beyond that, because I've been so busy fighting everything here,
Yeah.
that there hasn't been a time for me and you to sit down and talk about this.
Everything.
About,
Yeah.
No, specifically the gaming point when we would game.
Yeah. My skin is so white.
What?
That's like
We've talked about everything in between, your problems, my problems, everything we've been going through, even if it's been separate. My life out here, while it is crazy, it's stable. Truthfully, I could live like this till the end of my day.
It sounds peaceful, it sounds peaceful, just boring. And what I mean, not boring as in like unentertaining, but just like you miss people kind of thing.
No,
meaning friends.
The truth behind I miss having friends, but I only ever made friends because of the people. And technically, I do have true friends. It's just that I don't count them as my friends because they are friends of my uncle.
Don't repress your feelings.
Not friends of mine.
Gotcha. Yeah.
They might count themselves, but I stopped talking to my uncle. I might stop talking to them.
Fair.
Because they're his friends, and that's my type of style. And at work, I'm just trying to get my job done and get home. I have people who fight head and shoulders over because, oh no, someone slept in the break room for a bit too long.
Yeah.
And I'm going like, wake them up. Or leave them alone and they'll get their own job done. Don't sit around and help them. Let them get in trouble. You are the same paid rate as them. Just ignore them.
Exactly. What the fuck did you send me? It's crashing my... Oh.
Sorry.
Don't mind my wife. She's turning into a jet engine. She does this every morning. And it never fails to scare the hell out of me. That's understandable, Darkness. I completely understand. I kind of went through a similar thing when I worked at Blueberry Hill. It's like you said, it's friends of friends, but not my friends.
Yeah, and there's reasons for it. Like, the people I talk to are either too old, because that's where I live. I live in an old town.
Hence why it's a peaceful area, yeah.
No one does anything. Or it's the people I do meet are into Fortnite, Call of Duty, the competitive side of things. And I'm going like, where's your fun?
Minecraft.
Why do you have fun getting angry?
I can't speak on that because I've actively been streaming Call of Duty.
I'm not saying you specifically.
I know, I'm
saying
just
like them.
joking. You're fine.
But they'll actively rage and all that, and I'm going like, that's not fun.
No, but it's torture.
I have fun when I'm playing Elden Ring with you.
Mm-hmm.
I have fun because I get to try again.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Seamless was updated.
Cool.
Yeah.
But that's our type of play. I literally get recommended by a gamer, Crusader Kings 3. And I go like, that sounds like a good idea. Because I could sit back, set it up, and watch it run. Let the AI play it. I don't need to play it.
Yeah.
I can watch the troops fight. I can watch the AI kill each other. I wouldn't need to worry about that. And that's just how I am. I'm a chill back guy.
Yeah.
I don't need a mansion. I don't need fast, dangerous cars.
I feel that.
No, I don't even want to drive.
Just comfortability, or comfortable. That's all you want. Same.
Yeah.
I don't want to be rich. I just want to be able to live. And even that is becoming impossible.
Find your repetition, find your groove, and eventually, when you set yourself into a big enough groove, there was a song I was listening today at work.
Mm-hmm.
About someone who took shelters from a tornado, and that it gets dark. It's darkest before dawn.
Rise Against?
I have no idea. I'd have to look it up.
That sounds like Make It Stop by Rise
like
Against. Sorry, go ahead.
It sounds like a Firefly song. Let me see if I can pull it up.
I recently got into them because of the collaboration Lacey Sturna did with Apocalyptica.
The Tornado Owl City.
Oh.
And it sets what I do a lot is when there's a big headache problem with things around me that doesn't actually affect me, but just around me, I hide. If it's a problem, I fight.
It's because you're not confrontational.
Otherwise, I literally, that's why I don't have a happy place, but I'm not depressed, I'm not sad, because I don't need to be.
Yeah. You're what more people should strive to be, honestly, in terms of, like, expectations and stuff. Like, you don't want the world at your fingertips. You just want to be able to live comfortably and peacefully. There's nothing wrong with that. Whereas most people nowadays want to be, like, rich and shit, and it's like, that's not going to make you happy.
No. And actually, if you actually look at the really rich, the famous, like Markiplier,
they're miserable.
He cried because he realized he couldn't have a true connection with people.
Yeah.
Anymore.
I am grateful I can still do that with my viewers.
Be there for the fame and all that.
Yeah. I am very grateful I can still do that with you guys. Be able to talk one-on-one with you if you ever want to.
Well, it's more of you can make friends right now.
Yeah. I just lost like 70.
Enough, your friend group becomes stagnant or decreases.
Yeah.
There's no in between. There's no increasing. Not without chancing people trying to get things out of you.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm always sad. And if I ever had a job where I would be working a counter or whatever, and I don't know famous people, but if I notice that one of my customers is someone hiding their face, but I can tell it's a famous person,
don't put them out. Yeah.
I don't want to point them out.
No, let them respect their privacy. Yeah.
I might discreetly move them to a quieter location.
Yeah.
Than normal, but I'm not one of those guys that I understand. I don't feel. I've not felt what they do, but I understand the.
Yeah.
I understand the desire for quiet.
Oh, there's Lead. Hi, buddy.
So.
Yeah, it's just.
Speaking of quiet, I'm trying to get you a album I was sent.
Music album?
And it's just taking. Yes.
Okay. I have my phone somewhere.
Well, it's gonna come in on Discord, so you can download it to whatever device you want.
Oh, that's a less serious note. I'm actually going to the thumbnail it's using for the fucking stream. God damn it. On Discord. It's me tilting my head. I am getting back into music, by the way, full time, guys. I have a few covers that I have released on audio.com, I think it's called. I can post a link in the description of this for that. It's mainly just practice stuff. Nothing concrete yet. The current songs I'm working on are Freshman by the Verve Pipe, because I just like the song. It's got a very sad message, but it's a really good song. And my wife herself requested I cover Symptom of Being Human by Shinedown, which is a very painful song for me to listen to now, because it's one I used to bond with Thomas over.
I have similar ones about
I'll have to recap in a minute everything, because more people joined.
Have they?
Yeah, Lead joined, and so it's Snelica. Lead, Depone, and Snelica. Lead's one of my mods, that's why he's not on the viewer list. He's on the moderator list.
No, I'm looking at it. I had to press the refresh button that one.
Power Man's been here the whole time, which, fuck yeah, man, you rock. Thank you. Same to Stevie.
Yeah. Neil said something, and yes, he's okay. Speaking of child.
Hey, Power Man. What is that? Oh, fuck yes, it's the Soundific creature from The Hat in Time. That level was a bitch to 100%, but it was fun. To recap for everybody just joining, just an update about my mental and physical health, and just kind of being transparent about everything that happened with Thomas and how it's had a pretty major effect on me, including the betrayal I went through as a result of it. I'll summarize it because it took me 30 minutes to go through it all, so I'll just summarize it. Thomas was helping us out financially for a few years. We stopped asking him for money, and then he would just start sending us money when he saw we were struggling, and we'd tell him no, and every time we told him no, he'd add on to the amount he sent us. And even when we did ask him for money, he would always send us a lot more than we actually asked for, as a joke. And it got to the point where I woke up one day and he blew up at me that we fucked up his credit, and he even admitted that he was giving tons of other people money, including an ex-employee, a homeless person, whole 9 yards. Fast forward a little bit, I sent him $237 of, I believe, February of last year, and he didn't even acknowledge it. He dated a person named Martel who scammed him out of $4,000 pretty much, and then he got screwed up by cryptocurrency twice. I fucking warned him. And, yeah, then he just started taking all that out on me and Britt. Darkness even pointed it out that it happened during the Knockout City streams. And I just got to the point where I was going to cut him off after I paid him the money, but then I found out from him himself that he was going after an underage person. He lied about the person's age to me and Britt in person, saying they were 18. They were really 16.
Okay, I fixed it.
As we found out from the person who called to tell him that. He admitted in the Discord that he lied about them being 18, that they were actually 17. And then, again, the phone call confirmed that even that was a lie. So I cut him off and everything. The majority of our community turned against me. I was sent death threats, and I was pushed to the brink of suicide for days at a time. And I'm still recovering from it, honestly.
Just so you know,
ahead,
even 18 isn't considered fully grown.
No. You don't fully mature until you're 25.
18 for consent is a bit of an play.
Yeah.
And
especially when he was 25, turning 26.
Especially when you're dealing with 18-year-old versus a 17-year-old, it's technically that's still a problem,
but he
my aim is always 1 year difference. It's just my personal preference.
Britt and I are quite a few years apart, but I was well into my mid-20s.
You two have more experience and idea of what you want.
Yeah, and
for the general people, I'd say 1 year.
When I was actually in my mid-20s, a 19-year-old did try to heal me. Remember, I looked significantly younger. I did him a favor. It's like, oh, I'm legal. It's fine. It's like, no.
Yeah, and so yeah, that's why I cut off Thomas. Is even the pedo stuff aside, it was just the abuse was too much.
But yeah, I did that kid a favor.
And but onto my health, I might have something called toxic hepatitis. As you guys know, I've been obsessively drinking Monsters for the past few years because I've been going through severe depression and burnout that's had me exhausted 24/7. Exercise helps a little bit, but not as much as I need it to. And as a result, I've gotten addicted to Monsters. Well, the niacin in that, which is a chemical that you are supposed to have daily, but in excess amounts can cause serious health issues, because of how much I've been drinking, may have actually given me toxic hepatitis, because it's a chemical that is closely related to causing it. It's nothing set in stone yet, but my doctor is pretty freaked out about it. He wants me to get checked for it as soon as possible, which is going to be difficult. I don't have a fucking vehicle. There's another family war brewing in my family, unfortunately, because my mother, instead of actually understanding...
No, there's not.
What do you mean?
No, there's not. Not in your family.
Oh, fair point. Yeah. There's drama in real life in that regard, is all I'm gonna say. But yeah, and I just long and short of it is I just felt broken. I never felt so betrayed by people that I personally built the community for. Everyone in the chat's been really chill. Pyroman, Snelica, Lead, Stevie, Darkness, of course, who I'm in the voice chat with right now. Everybody, you've all been really cool to me, and I appreciate it. But yeah, that whole Thomas situation had me suicidal. I'll be completely honest. I'm recovering now, but I'm no longer conflicted because Darkness set to it on that. What else? Like I said, going back into music. Darkness and I are going to stream Shane together today because we've been trying to do collaborations, but as he explained, his life is very busy. Things are peaceful.
I am literally sitting here on fumes, feels like.
Yeah. So that'll be way later today.
I sometimes stay awake till 10 o'clock here, which should be about noon for you.
Yeah.
And I'll sleep for about 5 to 6 dry. I've been sleeping like barely 3.
Well, you can see the bags under my eyes. The night terrors of sleep is just not a thing anymore. Another rehash. BLM. I love the idea. Hate the organization. More on that. Just rewind the stream about an hour and you'll see it. I despise race washing. I have a personal vendetta against it. Because it's incredibly offensive and incredibly fucking racist to all involved.
Yeah, even fellow people of color are secretly telling Hollywood to stop. But even fellow people of color, even their own people are attacking them for calling them out.
Oh, that was the other thing. And the people I had kicked from the server over the years, Alex, my ex, just was an asshole to me. Chris and Ale, Tech God's friends, one of them kept calling my wife the N-word, the female version, and the other was a Nazi sympathizer, so I removed them from the server as well as from my life. Hot Mess Pison I removed from the server because she was bullying Tech God for essentially making a good point that you shouldn't let that weight shouldn't be a basis on how to judge
Well,
someone.
let me say something on that part.
Yeah, go ahead.
Quick. Weight is a tricky thing for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I am constantly sitting around 260. I think I was 260 when you saw me last.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
245
been a
right
year.
now.
I've changed my eating habits. I don't drink Mountain Dew. It's not like I haven't tried anything except for exercise.
Yeah, we're just meaning don't bully people for it.
But you also saw how I was built. Do you remember?
Mm-hmm. Human tank.
My shoulder. I am 260 pounds and possibly my body fat is possibly like just a tad over average.
And you've seen me. I have buff arms and legs. I just have a gut now. Which is the weirdest oxymoron. I'm like the Beast Titan from Attack on Titan.
That is what it is, but that's weight doesn't mean anything. Because people can be fit and weight and be overweight.
Yeah.
People can be skinny and be
unhealthy,
just fine.
My mom.
It is not the weight itself. It is how you view it. And what it's built of, and how your body reacts to it. If you try to drop 60 pounds in a week somehow, you're gonna feel problem. You're gonna have problem. But if you're sitting there at having problems and you can't function well, or you're finding yourself that everything you do is making you just that tad bit worse, no matter how much you try, that's not weight. That's your body giving up.
Usually goes up to about here.
Weight is not supposed to be how you define people.
Appearance in general isn't.
Determine your health.
That's why I respect Dr. King's ideology, and am again saddened that he was a domestic abuser. Judging someone by the concept of their character really is the only correct way to go about it. Unless they're wearing hate symbols or something like that. You know, obviously, yes, that's fucked up. But people who dress different or look different should not be judged for it.
No, and I will admit this, that when I look at people, I try to tell myself that I only look at the soul, but the truth is that it's not. Everyone has their own preference. Some people are gay, some people like the other gender, some people don't like anybody. But whichever you say in your head about how a person looks to you, that's how it should be, is in your head. Unless it's requested by said person.
Yeah, unless it's like a legitimate discrepancy or concern, right? One that actually does warrant being spoken. But I agree. Keep your opinions to yourself, kind of thing.
Brit could ask you if a new outfit makes her look fat anyway, and that's just her concern with keeping up her image or whatever.
It's funny.
Looking nice and all that. It's
funny you say that, because she has asked me that recently about a dress she got, and I was completely honest with her. It does not. Even if it did, I would be completely honest with her and be like, yes, it does highlight your curves a bit more, but I don't believe in lying someone just to spare their feelings, honestly.
But
depending on what it is.
My outfit, I might be overweight. I would like a doctor to tell me if I am, because I feel like I am at 260. Not because of I feel bad, but because my gut's always been a problem.
You're taller than me, correct?
5'11.5".
Yeah, no, then that's right. I was 3 inches taller than you. I'm 6'2", by the way. It's always been debated whether I'm 6'2", 6'4", but yeah, 6'2". Yeah, no, you're actually. I'm considered
more
overweight,
convinced.
so I would assume yes. But as
But
far as like obese, no.
people, but that's the problem. Is I've had a doctor who saw me when I was like this and said no because my body structure, my
Mm-hmm.
literal muscle is so dense around my legs specifically that it just makes up for it.
Yeah.
And
Being built is something most doctors don't actually account for.
some doctors don't, some people do, but
Mm-hmm.
even if you do, I concerned with my health aspect of because the gut is the only part I don't like about myself. But I'm not gonna try and get a regimen of doing sit-ups or planks or whatever, because then I'm gonna cause myself more problems when I stop.
Says the guy who just redeemed that make me do 3 push-ups when I die 3 times.
Hey, you have it there.
Yeah. What do I still have here? Because I know I want to bring back the singing one. To be continued.
Okay, well.
Yeah. But yeah.
That's
I gotcha.
me done for the day. I gotta go and take care of some things.
Alright, man.
Okay, talk to you later.
Talk to you later. What time do you want to do Chain Together?
I will send you a Discord message when I wake up and all that.
Alright. Alright, man.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for hanging out.
Yep.
But yeah, that was just the basic nitty-gritty of it. Is I just wanted to address everything because the whole Thomas situation gave me a bad rep. It painted me in such a fucked up light and was filled with so many rumors and so many lies that I just was like, okay, it's time to be 100% transparent and just be like, hey, this is me. I'm a person that likes to help people. I've been through a lot of shit. I'm still going through a lot of shit. I cut off my best friend because he was an emotionally abusive piece of shit to me in the end. And just leave it at that. I'm going to end this off by saying that basically some steps I'm going to take to heal. I guess try and meet new people to play video games with. Definitely go on more walks because it's nice outside for once. Britt was saying earlier that's like 80. Step away from the monsters. I don't know what I'm gonna do instead. I could get Coca-Cola, I guess, for now. Less caffeine and no taurine, so could try that. Definitely get more sleep because as you can see, I haven't slept in weeks. Yeah. Oh, and the night terrors thing. I never did go into that. The reason I've been having night terrors is I keep having night terror flashbacks of my parents fighting when I was a kid because it was brutal. I have night terrors of Thomas somehow coming back and causing me even more hell in my life. Call it PTSD, I guess, because he was abusive. And I read a book recently, kind of. I watched Wendigoon's 5-hour video on it where he read the book to you, which I thought was a really cool idea. Something to listen to while playing a game. Called Red Meridian. And the main villain of that story, called Judge Holden, really got to me as a male grooming and rape survivor. And I had nightmares he was raping me. So that fucked with me a little bit. I believe that addresses everything for the most part. I think so. I'm trying to think. Because the reason the stream is super long, I wanted to get everything out into the open, on the table, whatever phrasing you want me to use. But yeah, I am going to spend some time with Britt, possibly watch a few more episodes of One Piece since we're near the time skip, and then finally start Daria. Once again, Lead, I don't know if you're still in the chat, but let me know when you're ready. and you and me and gaming can get the podcast stuff sorted out. But yeah, just a reminder: the name of it is going to be a demon, a brony, and a Brit walking to a bar. That's the name of the podcast. I'm pagan, so I thought naming myself demon would be kind of funny because my religion of Wicca is obviously often wrongfully demonized as like satanic, even though we don't believe in the devil. But yeah, I'm very tired, so I'm a little rambly. Sorry. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. I appreciate you. Thank you sincerely for hearing me out and giving me a chance to explain what the hell has been going on. I will see you guys later today for Chained Together with Darkness. So, yeah. Love you. Appreciate you. And as always, stay strong no matter what. Bye, guys.